In cooler times across St. Louis on this Tuesday, partly sunny skies, 48 for the high. That's a big change from yesterday. Tonight, cloudy skies, some rain moving in well after midnight, 35. Wednesday, clouds with periods of chilly rain. It's all rain, 49 degrees, rain, and a couple of spot thunderstorms Wednesday night. Thursday, partly sunny, 54. We've got more rain Friday and Saturday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
At the Williams residence, everything looked kind of the same from the outside. But inside, their lives just got way happier. 3 years of inflation and debt had crushed them. But for the first time, they had the cash to secure their retirement, pay off bills, and plan their future. They didn't win the lottery exactly. They did a genius financial strategy called the Sell and Stay program from Truehold. It's easy. Their home's value had rebounded greatly, so they quickly sold it to Truehold and banked all that equity in cash. But since they weren't ready to move, they could stay put with an easy, affordable lease. Truehold even paid their property taxes, home insurance, and essential home repairs. Truehold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Get a Truehold offer now while your home's value is high. Call 855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
One of the things with running is I want to enjoy the run, but I never made it very far because the arches in my feet just killed me. So when I got to the end of my rope and I said I have to do something to get rid of the pain, and a couple people recommended the Good Feet store to me. I loved how I could go in and get a free personalized arch support fitting. They put that time, that work, that effort into helping you find the right arch supports. And you can walk around this store with these in your shoes and try them out before you purchase them. So after I got my arch supports, the arches on my feet stopped hurting and the pain instantly, literally instantly went away. So if you have pain, go. Find a Good Feet store and go. And there is an answer. Find the simple solution that will get rid of your pain. I'm Rondi, and that's my Good Feet story.
See how Good Feet arch supports work for you before you buy with a free fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Visit one of our 2 locations, Creve Coeur and Shiloh, Illinois, and at goodfeet.com.
Hey guys, it's Mark Reardon. If you're struggling with low energy, performance issues, or weight gain, Game Day Men's Health has got you covered with testosterone therapy, ED treatments, and more in all of a relaxed man cave environment. At Game Day, you'll get a free testosterone test and consultation, all in just 1 hour. Game Day is the premier men's health clinic with locations in Chesterfield, O'Fallon, Missouri, and Glen Carbon, Illinois. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Get back in the game with Game Day Men's Health.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural hair products from New Nordic. Purchase at NewNordicUSA.com or CVS. That's NewNordicUSA.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Thank you for joining us on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Why are we inside? It says it's 42 and sunny.
42 degrees? That's not a nice day.
42? It's nicer than 42. Plus it's sunny. Nice.
Well, it's nice to look at.
42 feels like the very first moment of spring after you've had like 10-degree weather. And isn't it supposed to ice tomorrow or something?
Oh, I haven't heard. I thought this weekend maybe. But I haven't heard tomorrow.
I think I saw it was supposed to start Wednesday.
Well, I think it's supposed to warm up enough. I'm hoping we don't have that issue. I'll give you this. The snow is gone. The ice and everything is finally gone.
Thank you for giving me that.
You're
appreciate
welcome.
that.
You're welcome.
That was very kind of you.
I'm just kind of a giving guy.
You know, you're getting one step closer to being an old man when you're, like, giving those weather tips. Do you have a weather station?
We are the weather station.
No, we're not.
Dave Murray. Yeah.
He is the weather station. Do you have a weather station?
No. Does anybody?
Brad, do you have a weather station at your house before we go too hard into this?
No, I don't have a weather station.
I bet you Ethan does.
No, he does not.
I look forward to this day. I am honestly, genuinely looking forward to the day where my concern is how much rain we got and what kind of birds I have in my backyard.
I'm just surprised that we're there. It's not that warm. Are the birds actually chirping?
I'm talking about in life, like when I'm 65.
Oh, okay.
Not this week.
Not today.
Not in the 5-day forecast. I'm talking in the 50-year forecast.
Okay.
You know, when you can talk about birds with people?
No.
You don't know that?
I know that. I'm not looking forward to that.
Okay, let's out your parents. Because my parents are like the nerds.
Okay.
In this regard, especially mom. She retired, became a master gardener, and then became a master naturalist or something like that. But she tells you the Latin names of the birds. I'm like, that one's orange, and that's one special. And I've seen them also in Baltimore. Do your parents do the bird thing?
No.
No?
No.
I bet they do, and they've kept it from you.
If they do, I haven't heard any of it.
I bet they have a little shame. And not like my parents. My parents have no shame.
My mom does love working in the yard more than she used to. So,
she still work?
No.
She doesn't work. Your dad retired too.
Yeah.
Do they do a lot of yard work?
Given the right climate, yes. I don't think they're doing a lot right now.
Did they nerd out in retirement on anything in particular?
I don't know. I can't say there's anything in particular that they really went full in on. Although my mom does love doing yard work, and she does some volunteer work and stuff now. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Can you imagine in your retirement being like, I think I'd like to be president again?
No, I can't imagine.
And then being like, gosh, how long do I have? 4 weeks? Yeah, I think I can fix it in that amount of time.
I see where you're going now.
I can't believe how much stuff he's getting done. And I just can't help. Somebody has to say the name Joe Biden for me to remember that he existed.
There was a story about him today, and I forgot that he existed until they said he just signed with a talent agency. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I heard them reporting that on Fox News, and it's like, who's that agency? If you are a client of that agency, are you going, really? This is not good for my brand.
No, if I'm a client of that agency, I'm going, what's the next Biden movie? I want to be the co-star. Like he's going to be the next transporter. That was for Brad, apparently.
Get in, Jack. Throws his aviators on, drives 15 miles an hour down the road with his left turn signal on.
We're having a good time over here.
You guys seem to appreciate each other right now, and so I feel like the people listening probably do too.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I don't get it doesn't mean it shouldn't be appreciated.
Transporter 4, Joe Biden. That's the name of the movie.
You got to slur it a little bit, though.
Okay.
Is Transporter a movie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is there anything that Donald Trump is doing right now that surprises you? Because it feels like what he did the first time, but he's not. I mean, people. Maybe this is what it is. The left is trying very hard to sling arrows at him. The left is working very, very, very diligently to try to pull him down and to smear him and disparage him. But Chuck Schumer going up there with a Corona Light and an avocado just isn't cutting it like it used to.
That was dated within an hour of him doing it.
He probably did more for selling avocados and Corona Light by putting that out there. You go home and you're like, yeah, guac does sound good. Come to think of it, we had tacos last night. No guac, though. I don't know if my husband was, like, protesting. Someone's going to go up to him and be like, so, guacamole,
He's
huh?
trying to bring Corona back. It's a bold play.
Chuck Schumer just didn't know which one. I mean, there isn't the criticisms that are out there for Donald Trump. They're the same criticisms that the left has been throwing at him. And people are like, okay, it's like very head patty. All right now, just do what you got to do.
It's so fast. The things that he's doing, by the time we get to Friday, we will have forgotten what happened on Monday because it'll be a whole new list of things that he's working on.
That happens on the daily to the point where I am sitting here going, okay, morning news. I usually check in the 6 a.m. hour just to be like, did any countries blow up over the nighttime? Any major catastrophes happen? Just check, make sure I don't have any major news alerts, and then I'll revisit basically hourly until I start watching Fox News in the morning. And that's 6 hours of time from 6 a.m. to noon there's a lot. Joe Biden wouldn't make appearances for days. And if you look at his schedule, which I get now, apparently I got on a list somehow. I'm on a lot of lists. He's doing so much all day. It's not even just like in the work day, so to speak. He's working top to bottom to make sure that all of these things that he said he could do. One of the things that is funny to me is he sits there and he signs these executive orders. The press pool is all in front of him. They're asking him questions like, don't you think that this is going to get turned over in the courts? And sometimes he'll be like, I don't know, maybe. And I'm like, okay, why not try? Here's something else. This is the main point that is starting to actually, I've been enjoying winning so much that I'm like, nothing, don't let anything under your skin here. If the left is lefting, let them do that. They're doing it in the losers bracket. So whine away. But basically all 4 years of Joe Biden's presidency and 8 years of Barack Obama's presidency, we were subjected to what would you say was the prevailing broad issue of the left in the last 15 to 20 years that kind of oversaw everything? I don't want to set you up to fail here.
I'm thinking of specific legislation like Obamacare, but I don't think that's what you're going for.
Bigger than that. Broader than that. It affects everything. Climate change.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's in everything. It used to be global warming, and they're like, oh, but it's cooling. They're like, okay, so it's changing. Is it going to change forever? Yes. We'll call it that. Climate change. Climate change is in everything. How long have we been, as taxpayers, as voters, as citizens, told you're going to have to pay a little more for certain things because it's good for the environment? That's been an accepted policy by the left, who has been telling you what kind of stove you can use, what kind of water head you can use in your shower, what kind of toilet you can use, what kind of car you can use, how frequently you can travel via this mechanism or that mechanism. They've been micromanaging every inch of your life for going on 20 years right now. And in doing so, you have been told it's to save the planet. It's to save the future of our humanity and to save the world. Hooray. And now you see Donald Trump in a day get concessions from both of our neighboring countries by imposing tariffs on them that, like, if you were, the tariffs, you need to employ them in like time zones, because by the time you get to the afternoon, they're already off again because Mexico's been like, let's just work on this. Let's talk about this. Let's see what we can do about this. I think we got some troops we can send to the southern border, our northern border, to help you out. Same thing. Justin Trudeau is peacocking all over the place in Canada yesterday, and by the end of the day, he's like, I think we can help. Can we wait a minute? Did Donald Trump know at the beginning of the day that if he threatened to split the baby, that the baby would be fine by the end of the day? I think he did. And honestly, it's not a secret. He's been telling us this the entire time throughout the campaign, that it's a bargaining chip. And we said this yesterday, and I will repeat this again. Was it Kayleigh McEnany brought this up as well? The tariff isn't the end. It's a means to an end. And if Canada or Mexico or any of these other countries want to be so stupid as to say, no, we'll just stop with the tariffs. Okay, let's go. Donald Trump will follow through on that. But he uses the tariff to get to the end that he wants and needs. And he's not there yet with this. He's a month away from doing the song and dance once again, but he's effective. Donald Trump has even said, I heard yesterday Marie Harf on Outnumbered, and she was just losing her mind by everything's going to cost more. You just wait and see. That's what she kept saying. You just wait and see. You just wait and see. Things are going to cost more. Brian Kilmeade was super annoyed with it. If you haven't gone back.
Thank you.
Yes, go back and watch Brian Kilmeade. I didn't watch him. I listened to him in the car on the way in here, but it was like he was, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he was offended by the ignorance. I'm going to put it that way.
Good.
Yeah. The freak out from the left with 3 weeks of being in office of the cost of goods going up. You freaking care about this right now because you put us in this position for the last 4 years and you didn't care because you told us that your reason for making things cost so much was a righteous cause. But now it doesn't matter how we get to higher prices because Donald Trump said himself, listen, some things might cost a little bit more for a minute. That it might be very, very short-term pains. Donald Trump has said that. But the means to an end to keep fentanyl from flowing into your child's bedroom in a suburban area somewhere in this country, to keep the bad guys from coming across the southern border or the northern border unchecked, to make our communities safer, to make American jobs more valuable, to make American products more valuable, to make other countries respect us, not just to our face, but also behind the scenes when they have to treat us with the respect, not just say they respect us, they have to show the respect that we deserve as the predominant economy in the world. The other side of that hill, you can actually see what that looks like versus climate change that we've been asked to spend more money on because it provides you some virtuous bologna sausage that you can share with everybody and put stickers on your car and signs in your yard. There's no other side of climate change. There's no other side of that. But there's so much money being made, but not by you. You're funding it, and people are getting rich off of it, and you're told that your participation in the process, what do you get for paying more? You get to feel good about yourself, and that should be enough. That's such crap. It's such total crap. You've been told, this entire far-left progressive movement, that climate change is the religion by which you must worship at the altar of government, and you have for a while maybe even been quiet about it and become less quiet and more annoyed by it. The stupid light bulbs that you have to put in your house that don't light up rooms. I mean, it's all these little things. And you've done it because you've had to do it. But it turns out you don't have to do it because there's somebody else in the Oval Office right now who understands reality and is completely unafraid of it. He deals in reality, and if you're soft, it hurts, but that's okay. You'll toughen up, and you'll be better for it. This country will be better for it. I'm waiting for him to put tariffs on something that actually gets back around to us. It's possible it might happen. But when you see Donald Trump out there talking about tariffs and you watch the left lose their ever-loving minds simply because the cost of goods might go up or they are guaranteeing that it is, they do not care about that. They only care about the political collateral that they get out of the price of goods going up because then they want to pin that to a Republican. The only thing that matters when it comes to the price of goods going up is whether or not a Republican is to blame or not for it. That's the only thing they care about. And in fact, they'd cheer for prices to go up if they could pin it on a Republican. They don't give a crap about you. And we know it because they've been hypocrites about it, because they've been raising the cost of everything. Everything costs so much more right now. And it all starts, again, with energy, which they either don't understand or they're willing to ignore. It really doesn't make a difference, the reason for it, because the end is the same. Everything costs more. If they actually cared about that, bottom line that you and I have to pay, they wouldn't have managed the economy the way they did while they had the opportunity to control it. The climate change has been the permission slip for them to rise the cost of everything. And we were supposed to be good students of theirs and feel very good about ourselves while we did it. Now you got a guy in charge who's willing to say, yeah, the cost of that might go up, but here's the reason why. And he's protecting our country. And it's going to be a little painful because they screwed it up so much. But it's good that Joe Biden has a talent agent now. That makes me feel better.
You know, the difference in this time around versus Trump 1.0 is that they're doing the same tactics, same things. They're screaming the same stuff. But the first time they thought, you know what? We're going to be the resistance. We're going to fight. And they were united. This time they're doing the same thing, saying the same stuff. But they're also publicly going, what are we doing? We're losing. Why do we not have a part? What is our point? They're openly asking that question because they know they've lost.
It's going to be fun to keep watching. Well, we've got a lot of confirmations that are going to be happening here in the next week or two. We've got very important committee votes that have taken place in the Senate. We're going to get an update from our friend Ryan Schmelz on the other side of this quick break here. He's the Fox News Radio Capitol Hill and White House correspondent, and Ryan Schmelz is going to update us on the current state of Donald Trump's cabinet, those approvals. Ryan Schmelz next on the Annie Fry Show.
Scared to die. We ain't perfect, but we try. Get along.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Drink a beer, sing a song, make a friend. Can't we all get along?
STS Armory in Pontoon Beach, Illinois, with a brand new, shiny new facility. They built it, they designed it, and it's stunning. You need to go check it out. Like I said, STS Armory in Pontoon Beach, Illinois. But you can also visit them online right now at sts-armory.com. If you are thinking in 2025 that you want to sign up and get your conceal and carry license once and for all, I encourage you to check out Katie and Jesse's classes at STS Armory. I recently did my conceal and carry renewal with STS Armory, and I found, I think maybe some of you would be really excited to go to that. To me, it looks like something on the calendar. I got to get it done. I got to do it. But when I went there and I was sitting there listening, I was like, gosh, there's so many other classes I could take that I would benefit from greatly. And they have those opportunities for you and for me, for children, to make sure that they understand good firearm safety, the whole gamut. They are the best at it. And you can sign up for classes easily by visiting them online. Just go to Pontoon Beach, Illinois, STS Armory, or online at sts-armory.com.
What's it going to take for you to realize the IRS is in full-blown attack mode, and if you have IRS issues, your timely response is critical? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We certainly know the IRS has ramped up efforts because we're seeing a lot more clients with threats of intents to seize property or levy rights to property. If you have IRS issues, call the Lance Drury Firm today. Today, don't wait. Those IRS notices have hard deadlines for exercising your appeal rights. If you miss the deadline, your rights to a legal appeal are gone. Let the Lance Drury Law Firm get between you and the IRS today, and we'll help you manage your case to achieve the best outcome. IRS problems are serious legal matters, so call Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Don't wait. Call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120, and schedule your free consultation with me, Lance Drury, or visit lance.drurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun. Always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-230-9333. 314-230-9333. That's 314-230-9333.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
97.1 FM Talk encourages you to support Red Cross Disaster Relief. Visit redcross.org or text the word Red Cross to 90999 to make a $10 donation. Your gift enables the Red Cross to help people recover from disasters big and small. This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
I'm not trying to be your part-time lover. Sign me up for them full-time. I'm yours, all yours. So what a man gotta do? What a man gotta do to be totally locked up by you?
I feel really good about all of his nominees. They're all intelligent, they're articulate, they're unflappable. As I said, they're fighters. That came out very well in the confirmation hearings. And I think most Republican senators take the attitude I do that President Trump won a convincing victory. He deserves to staff the administration with people he wants in those positions. And unless there's some disqualifying aspect of their background, our job is to make sure that we vote to confirm those people so he can really, swiftly and decisively act to honor the promises he made to the American public.
That's my favorite senator's name to say. Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin there, talking about how Donald Trump should get his nominees confirmed. And there has to be, we were just discussing in the last segment how the amount of information that is flooding out towards us every day to cover. I assure you that Ryan Schmelz is on top of all of the things that are coming out of Capitol Hill, because there's quite a lot to cover as well. And he joins us now. He's Fox News Radio, Capitol Hill and White House correspondent. Ryan Schmelz, welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Good to have you here.
Always great to be on, Annie. How are you?
I'm doing okay. We are excited to watch all of the news in progress, but it's a hurry up and wait thing. It seems like on Capitol Hill, probably all of the time. Where are we right now with Donald Trump's cabinet nominations?
Right. So actually, Doug Collins for VA Secretary just got confirmed a few minutes ago officially. The vote took a while, but it was a bipartisan vote. Not exactly somebody we were expecting to have too many hurdles in getting confirmed. So that is now out of the way. We're on to Pam Bondi, likely later tonight. Expecting her to get confirmed, but it probably will be a little bit more on party lines than Doug Collins was. But of course, the big news today, Annie, was that you saw Robert Kennedy Jr. getting voted out of committee. We were all watching for Senator Bill Cassidy. Obviously not the biggest Trump fan, somebody who supported the second impeachment of Donald Trump. He had serious concerns with Robert Kennedy Jr.'s past statements on vaccines, but ultimately he got to yes. And a lot of that was thanks to a number of concessions that he was able to get from RFK related to not changing the CDC guidance or taking any information off the CDC website that claim that vaccines do not cause autism. They're going to be speaking every month on multiple times. And also, Cassidy is going to have input in hiring decisions made at HHS going forward. So this was a pretty good deal for Cassidy, it looks like, and one of the reasons why he got to yes on RFK Jr. But I think the big thing that we're starting to learn here, Annie, is that J.D. Vance is playing a pivotal role in getting some of these weary senators on board with President Trump's nominees. Not just Cassidy, but also J.D. Vance served as kind of a liaison between Senator Todd Young and Tulsi Gabbard, who was kind of the last Republican on the Senate Intelligence Committee who was weary on Gabbard's nomination. But after a number of discussions, Young was able to get enough assurances that he's going to support her nomination later when she goes before the Senate Intelligence Committee, and they vote that out of the committee later.
We're speaking with Ryan Schmelz, reporting from Capitol Hill, Fox News Radio's Capitol Hill and White House correspondent. How much of this negotiation involves Democrats? Because they don't need to participate to vote. They could all vote against all of the nominees, and if the Republicans are together, then they're going to get confirmed. Are Democrats playing a role? Are there any specific Democrats in the Senate who are trying to be a part of this process to be included in a possible confirmation vote?
Now, where the Democrats kind of play in here in terms of negotiating is usually with a time agreement, as in when they have the official votes on these nominees. But in terms of Democrats working to confirm some nominees alongside with Republicans, if there's any of that going on, I haven't really heard of it. Pretty much President Trump and his team are trying to wrangle the current senators that they have on the Republican side. There's 53 of them. They only need 50 of them to get anybody confirmed. So that's kind of where the negotiations are going on, is trying to work with the senators who may have issues with a nominee, whether it's Tulsi Gabbard, whether it's RFK Jr., and just trying to get them to yes. And all they have to do is get 50 of them to yes, and they're good to go.
Hey, Ryan Schmelz, this is Ryan Wiggins. Why does it take so long once they get out of committee, once RFK, Tulsi, they get out of committee, why does it take so long to confirm them? Are Democrats holding this process up?
There's a lot of procedural hurdles that you have to go through with the Senate. There's a lot of procedural votes, like words like cloture, which I could probably put your listeners to sleep explaining. But yes, and Democrats do have the ability to block some of these nominees, delay some of these nominees, and stop some of these nominees. And John Thune has gone to the Senate floor and said, hey, if you're going to make this hard, we can do it the hard way, which is we'll just wait you out and vote, eventually when our time's up. But there are some procedural hurdles when it could take up to 30 hours in between votes. And that in many ways is delaying some of these nominees. But one thing that Thune has made very clear is that they're kind of on the same pace that Barack Obama was when he first got into office, and he was confirming many of his nominees. It might not be the same pace as President Biden or the first Trump administration, but he's kind of used the Obama metric to kind of pace how they're going so far.
We're speaking with Ryan Schmelz from Capitol Hill, and there's always plenty to cover, and I think a lot of the attention is over there on the Senate as we move through these confirmation votes. But also, I'm reading here from a Fox News report from the House of Representatives. House delays key vote on Trump budget bill after conservative fury over spending cuts, and it indicates that the House Freedom Caucus members are pushing for deeper spending cuts. What can you tell us about the slimmest of majorities of Republicans in the House and their ability to get, the impossible done here?
Well, there's going to be two key pieces of legislation that are going to happen within the next couple of, I would say, weeks, probably. Number one, you have one that has a hard deadline. That's the government funding deadline in mid-March. So there has to be some type of agreement there. Currently, negotiators, whether it's the House and Senate and leadership in both parties, are trying to work on a top-line spending number. I think there's an anticipation that the Freedom Caucus is not going to like whatever that top line spending number is. So the next process is the reconciliation bill, which is the one big, beautiful bill you hear President Trump talk about. It's supposed to have a lot of his priorities like border, energy, as well as taxes. But a lot of conservative Republicans have put their foot in the ground and said, we need to have spending reforms or spending cuts that are involved here, or offsets if we're going to spend more money. And it just looks like the current plan that they've been leaning towards, in the last couple of days, just isn't good enough for the Freedom Caucus. So they're kind of ordering them to go back to the drawing board and find a way to reduce spending. So could that be where the Department of Government Efficiency comes in and kind of the caucuses and committees that they've established this Congress? We don't know that just yet. But yes, there's going to be a huge, challenge here in getting everybody on board, especially when you can only afford to lose one or two votes any given vote cycle. So this is going to be a challenge for Speaker Johnson.
Ryan, do you expect that challenge back and forth to predominantly take place behind closed doors? Is it going to spill out into the public where we're going to hear, okay, this guy from the Freedom Caucus and Mike Johnson over here is the speaker? Are we going to see this fight out in the open, or are they going to keep it behind closed doors?
Well, the one thing I've learned about the House being here is that there are a lot of closed door meetings, and a lot of the dirty laundry in those closed door meetings make it out into the public. So I think they'll try to keep it behind closed doors as much as possible, but I'm sure there's going to be plenty of leaks and plenty of information that gets put out there from what happens in those meetings. But Johnson quite often brings a lot of people into his office from different caucuses of the Republican conference, and they try to have these negotiations and try to hash these things out. They were successful in doing that when they negotiated the new motion to vacate threshold, and also negotiated with some of the holdouts on Speaker Johnson's nomination. So it can be done, but when you're talking about a bill this size that's this bold, it's going to be a challenge.
You kind of touched on this as well. We're speaking with Ryan Schmelz with Fox News Radio from Capitol Hill. You mentioned the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. How does the House of Representatives, under the encouragement, of course, Donald Trump and his vision for getting spending completely reined in, how does it work with this kind of new entity, this new agency that has been formed under Elon Musk? How do those two groups, the representatives that we voted for, we sent to represent us and have the say on how to vote, how do they work together or against DOGE?
Yeah. So I think we're still trying to figure that out, because DOGE is not an official government agency yet, and it probably would have to be established through Congress to be official. But in many ways, it can still kind of serve, it looks like, in some type of advisory role where, they make recommendations to the House and they write legislation. So what we know right now is that the DOGE caucus in the House has established these different working groups that go through each part of the federal government, and they find ways that they can either find waste or make the government more efficient. And their goal, from what I've been told, is by the end of the year, each one wants to have at least one piece of legislation that they're introducing this Congress that will address either government efficiency or government waste. So What that's going to look like, obviously, it's still too early, but could some of these bills make it into the reconciliation package? That could go a long way in satisfying the Freedom Caucus and their mission to cut spending or rein in spending. But I think it's just still, we don't know what those details are going to look like.
Well, Ryan Schmelz from Capitol Hill, we really appreciate these insights. There's so much happening, and we know that you're covering it minute by minute. So we're going to have you back again next week. Ryan, thank you for being with us today. It's great to talk to you again.
Hey, thanks, Annie. Looking forward to it again. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Ryan Schmelz is the Fox News Radio Capitol Hill and White House correspondent. We discussed the possibility of bringing him back regularly. I really like the idea of having him on. We're usually going to have him on Mondays or Tuesdays. Just kind of depends on his schedule and our schedule as it lines up. But there's a lot going to be happening with this administration, and it's nice to compare it to what we had before. Like, there's this kind of drum of you just kind of accepted malaise and this drudge of nothing happening in Capitol Hill. And especially if you have a Republican majority in the House and a Senate Democrat majority, of course, Biden being the president, you don't really expect a whole lot to get done. And a lot of it is just posturing. The Republicans passed H.R. 2, and they're like, we're going to secure the border. And you're like, no, you're not. The Senate's never going to vote for that. So it just kind of comes to a standstill. There's really just nothing. That's not going to be the case. At least for 2 years, that's not going to be the case. And if you've looked at the numbers of 2026 voter support for either party, I just saw some numbers yesterday. I should pull them up and report on them specifically in this show, but overwhelmingly people are still flocking to the Republican Party. And if in 2026, can you imagine in 2026 the potential for Donald Trump to have a stronger majority?
Man,
oh boy.
I'll believe that when I see it just based on historical trends, but man, You're right. The numbers of people registering in key states especially is overwhelmingly Republican.
Scott Pressler's going ham in New Jersey, and
Yeah.
he keeps posting about the success they're having there. Pennsylvania continues to push Republican. It's not like they got to the November 2024 election and stopped. They continue on that path. This is why, the people who hate the policies of Republicans, of conservatives, constitutionalists, the people who hate that idea and are steeped in far left progressivism, and I don't say that as an insult. If you're hearing that and that sounds like an insult to you, I'm just saying, if somebody said that I was for far left progressive, I would feel insulted by that because I think the policies are terrible. But if you're somebody who truly, if you are a hard on your sleeve liberal and the DEI stuff is super important to you because you think that's the only way that people of different colors or walks of life or religions or whatever can be included, I would challenge that at its very, very core, that's not actually true at all. But if you're one of those people who feels that way and you're strongly feeling about it, you're looking at what's going on right now and you feel like the world's crumbling around you. I know people like that, and I love people. There are people in my life who I love dearly who are terrified, they're horrified about what's happening in our country right now. And I'm sitting here and I feel like I feel like I know something that they don't know. And do I want to share it with them? Yes. If I shared it with them, would they hear me? No. That's why when Donald Trump is doing the things right now that he's doing, you see so many people saying, I voted for this. We have strong, deep-rooted, principled differences about what America looks like at its best. I don't think it's hard to point to the last 4 years and say, that's not the best. That's not the best we can do, not even close. So when Donald Trump is doing these things, and it's happening so very quickly, and you've got Kash Patels that are probably going to be confirmed, you've got a Pete Hegseth that was confirmed, you've got, RFK Jr., a Democrat, Tulsi Gabbard, a former Democrat representative in the House who ran for president as a Democrat and was put in the cabinet, nominated to be in the cabinet by Republican Donald Trump, and none of it makes sense. A lot of these people are just going to have to wait and see. And they don't have another choice. You can publicly panic, you can flail, you can cry. I don't enjoy watching that happen with real people. If you're Joy Reid, it's hilarious.
Oh, yeah. If it's The View,
I'm
watching.
If it's The View, I'm like, I will make this appointment television. I want to see this happen in real time because those people are the deceivers. Those
Right.
people are getting rich off of deceiving real, innocent, heart-centered people who have a foundation that is different than mine and a perspective that is different than mine. And I respect the fact that we don't all come from the same place, so we see things differently. But there are deceivers out there right now who are losing their ever-loving mind. And if you're a compensated deceiver and you're melting down, that's just really funny. I'm not sad about that at all.
If you're on the left and you have, without even realizing it, made government essentially your religion. You would never put it that way, but that's what it is. This is your life philosophy being destroyed in front of your eyes. People are losing it. That's how it looks.
So when Donald Trump is doing the things he's doing at the rapid pace he's doing them, he has a finite amount of time to prove it. That's where we are. We're in the prove it time frame of this past campaign. He won. People can't believe it. So I encourage you, those relationships that you have in your life that are divided by politics, and if they look at you right now and they can't believe that you would support, children being ripped from their families and sent to a foreign country that they've never lived in, I mean, that's the worst case scenario. What's happening right now is criminals are being ripped from the communities that they stole into. The details are different. I'm also saying that there are going to be people who are going to be removed from this country who are good people. But they came here for the wrong reasons. And that's just the state we're in right now because the Biden administration encouraged this chaos. Now, we can point fingers and blame and do that. I don't know at the end of that if anybody's mind is going to be changed or if anything's going to be better for it. But we have to rely on Donald Trump, if we voted for him, to do what he said that he was going to do. It's amazing to watch the people on the left right now say, like when they're watching Donald Trump do all these things, the right is saying, I voted for this. If you go on X, it will not take you long to see somebody who just tweeted, I voted for this. And the people on the far left are saying to others out there, we told you this was going to happen. So did Donald Trump. And the people on the left who are trying to convince people, we said this was going to happen, we said that this is what he was going to do, have not yet figured out that other people were able to figure out for themselves with their own brain cells that Donald Trump was telling us what he was going to do. And we're like, check the Donald Trump box because of it. The American people are able to think for themselves, in large part, make decisions for themselves, live in reality, and they voted for it. I voted for this, that's for sure. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, Wiggins America, of course, the place that you go to find the signs that you're too polite.
This is inspired by Donald Trump.
Signs he's too polite?
Signs you're too polite.
All right. Where's this from? Career Addict?
This is from all over the place.
Is this just your personal opinion?
That's actually from Reader's Digest.
We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
All right, I want to encourage you to shop smart and shop at Ruler Foods. That's where the Fry family goes to save money on our groceries, on our household goods. If you're looking for paper products, if you're looking for fruit and produce, and I don't know, avocados, maybe, beer. You want to save a little money on it. Prices have gone up, but maybe not at Ruler Foods. That's where you go to save money. And it's good to know this little secret. I'm trying to make it less of a secret. When you shop at Ruler Foods, if you've never been in there before, you'll be very pleased with how clean the store is, how organized the store is. It makes a ton of sense when you go in there, so you don't have to take a lot of time looking for things. And savings is the name of the game. You put your quarter in the cart, you get your cart, and you are off onto the savings. I love the produce that they have there. We're always buying bananas. We do actually buy avocados. That's not even a joke. We buy their bagged salads quite a bit. But right now, you can save on strawberries. 1 pound package, $1.99 each. And I love their produce. Kroger 80% lean ground beef sold in a 3-pound roll. If you're going to throw it on your new smoker, $3.99 a pound. They also have Pepsi, Mountain Dew, or A&W root beer packs. They're 12 packs, 4 for $17 when you buy 4. Find them online at rulerfoods.com.
Gain peace of mind that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They give all their clients attentive personal service, even bring toys for the kids of the household. It's a family-owned and operated business for 25-plus years. They make sure you make the right choice for your home. So if you have carpets or hard floors, you're going to be happy for years to come. 3 convenient locations in St. Charles County, 116 Main Street, in Old Town St. Peters at Mid-Rivers and Highway 70, in West County on Olive, and the store in Darden Prairie. Michael's Flooring Outlet, igotfloor.com.
Could you make $500,000 in retirement savings? Maybe $1 million? Maybe $2 million? Well, you could. The key is having a comprehensive financial plan for taxes, Social Security, inflation, healthcare, income, and more. Discover how you could make money go a lot further in retirement in a 3-hour adult education class, Retirement Planning 101. Guys, it's Dave Glover from KMOX. This one-night class is taught by a fiduciary advisor from Financial and Tax Architects with decades of financial planning experience. They're held at colleges and libraries throughout St. Louis. There's no cost. Just bring 3 canned goods for the St. Louis Crisis Nursery. If you've saved $300,000 or more for retirement, register by calling 314-350-8110. 314-350-8110. If, like me, you haven't quite had the pedal to the metal the way you should, or if you've had the pedal to the metal the entire time, either way, give us a call. We can help you out. We'll take you wherever you are. 314-350-8110. 314-350-8110 for Financial and Tax Architects.
Our YouTube live chat poll today is, do you support eliminating the Department of Education? Let us know. Yes, no, not sure, but I trust Trump. It's really the same answers as yesterday, but a different question. Do you support eliminating the Department of Education? Let us know why you are choosing what you choose, and we could feature those comments throughout the show. We love reading your comments throughout the show. 12:49. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
97.1 is excited to welcome Brian Kilmeade back to St. Louis.
Hi, everyone. Brian Kilmeade here. I have great news. I'm going to be joining all of you in St. Louis.
Be a part of this event.
March 22nd, St. Louis. You're going to love it.
Get tickets at briankilmeade.com. This is the Annie Fry Show.
It starts with one thing. I don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard you try. Keep that in mind.
Wiggins!
Oh! Wiggins!
I love that song.
I'm glad you love that
Senior
Is that Linkin Park?
year basketball season. Tried so hard. I could probably sing like that right now because I'm all like.
Fun fact, I have had frosted tips for about a year, but I always wear hats, so you don't know. These are...
Okay.
Go ahead. Are you gonna know?
No, nothing about Rick to say here.
All right. These are signs you're too polite.
See what I just did there?
I do see.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see? Did you do that on purpose? These are signs you're too polite because we are living in right now, I believe.
Who's the most polite person in the room?
Too polite of a society.
Brad.
Who's the most polite person in the room? Really though, Brad?
Mm.
I think it's you.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I think Ethan's the nicest. Not necessarily the most
Not the most polite. Who's the most polite?
I just said.
Brad and I are probably both pretty polite, but we can also be really direct if necessary. So.
And I cannot. Therefore, I'm the most polite.
You are the least polite.
That might just mean you're soft.
And pudgy.
It's okay. I told him he was ugly the other day.
I think we've just eliminated Ethan from the conversation.
Yeah.
I never voted myself.
That's all right. As a polite person, you surely wouldn't.
You're a little soft and pudgy around the middle there during my segment. Thank you. All right, let's go through these and see if you are any of them. Constantly complimenting other people's appearance.
Is that polite?
If you're doing it, it's too polite.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, no, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do
Did
that.
I mention you look really good today?
That's not
No,
what. No,
you said the exact opposite of that.
Well, what did you say to him?
I told him he was ugly.
No, you didn't. You told me he looked like a piece of crap, but you didn't say crap. You said the foul language.
No, I did not say you looked like that. I said you are that.
I've probably heard Ryan. I've heard Ryan say colorful language before, but maybe in the time we've worked together, it's like less than 20 times.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard it twice.
Both of them were directed at you as jokes. As jokes. What did I say to you the other day?
I'm sure you felt
What's
that
up,
way.
you healthy piece of...
Yeah, that was the other day.
Boys are weird.
All right. Next one is holding eye contact for too long.
Yes. Well,
Right?
yeah.
It's weird.
As an introvert, all of these are going to make me uncomfortable.
I will be in conversations sometimes and be like, ooh, I think I'm holding eye contact too long. I need to look at something else.
Are you leaning in while you do it?
No, I'm leaning away.
Tell me more.
I'm
About
leaning
how
away
good-
and holding eye contact.
Did I mention you
It's
look
bizarre.
really good today?
Stare.
Using too many superlatives. I disagree with this one. I like superlatives. And when people use them, I get fabulously excited.
That's not a
Wow.
superlative. That's just an
It's an
adverb.
adjective.
Well, it's still a superlative adverb.
It's a what?
It actually says in the article, saying something is awesome or fantastic can be a nice compliment, but when everything is amazing or fabulous, then you've crossed the line from polite to irritating.
A superlative is the highest attainable level or degree of something. So I guess it doesn't have to be a something est.
Right.
But you're just taking the like, oh, you look nice today. That's the best you've ever looked. That dress is just banging.
Well, no, it's
That's
true,
what I
though.
said to Ryan yesterday.
If you, because I was wearing my dress. If you say
Don't
constantly
say it like
to
you
somebody,
only have one.
I was wearing my dress. That's my dress.
With
The dress.
Yeah, I was wearing the dress.
The
It was a
dress.
Monday.
But
not
with
not
that-
one of your
Blue or
dresses,
was it
but
white?
the dress.
It was, to answer all of your questions at once, yes, it was the actual Monica Lewinsky dress. Okay, can we move on? Using too many superlatives can be annoying because if you're always telling somebody they look amazing, do they ever actually look amazing, or are you just saying it?
Can you be introverted and do that one?
Nice.
No, like do the superlative one. I feel like that's like solely an extroverted thing.
I'll tell you what, no offense, salesman. These are all things that good salesmen go right up to the line of these things. Bad salesmen just blast right past the line that is being drawn by this list. And I have had the opportunity to work with some of our clients directly that we have with this show and talk to them. And I'm not I'm not the guy, the sales guy. I have something of value here, and I believe in it, and I stand by it, and I think you should too. And that's pretty much it. If they're that's why I'm bad. I don't know. I'm not bad. I'm not good though. It's like, do you want it or not? It's a sales pitch.
Is that what you walk into the door and say?
It's what I walk into
Come
the
on.
door trying so hard not to say.
You want it or not?
Don't even. Just keep moving. Just move along, son.
Oh.
I'll tell you what, though. We are the opposite on this. Because if somebody
On
does
what?
this to me, if somebody does the big superlatives to me, hey, what's up, big guy? Whoa, watch where you're swinging that chiseled jaw. I'm like, I'm buying it.
What you selling?
Yeah,
I'll
what are
take
you
two.
selling? I'll take the encyclopedia set, my friend. Give me it. All right, the next one is apologizing for every little thing.
Super annoying.
It gets there. You know where somebody's heart's coming from, but if they're
No,
constantly doing it.
They're not apologizing because they are sorry because they did something wrong. They're insecure.
Yeah.
Be secure. Be strong. Be confident. And if you, that way, if you do something wrong and you say you're sorry, people understand you mean it.
Speaking as someone that used to do this, you took the words out of my mouth. Totally insecurity.
You were an apologizer?
Yes. Like growing up, like in
I'm sorry. I'm
like
sorry. I'm
middle
sorry.
school, early high school, like a lot of anxiety, a lot of apologizing.
I have a girl on our I've coached her on several teams, and she apologizes all the time. And I correct her all the time. I'm like if she makes a mistake in practice, she's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, what are you sorry for? And I've got her to the point now where she does that. Instead of saying I'm sorry, she's like, I'm not sorry.
Stop apologizing.
That's
I
funny.
did it on
I'm sorry.
purpose. I'm
I'm
sorry
trying
for saying
so-
I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying so hard for these young girls to understand a level of confidence that doesn't mean arrogance, but to know that if you make a mistake because you're trying to do something and you're learning it, why would you be like, you're not in trouble. You're not sorry. So now it's, I'm not sorry.
Yeah, there's a guy in my church that he's a smart guy, but he always says, I'm real into apologetics. I'm an apologist. And I'm like, dude, get over it.
Super nerdy joke.
Yeah.
We don't have time for those stupid
We
jokes.
don't? What about being ultra PC?
Well.
I love that that's even on this list, though.
Yeah, from Reader's Digest?
Yeah, from Reader's Digest. Says many people think being polite is never offending anyone ever. So
we disagree.
Hey, welcome to your first day on 97.1, listeners.
But
We
you know
don't
why?
care.
Because people who are overtly PC like that for the sake of being PC are doing it for themselves, not the people that they're, air quotes, trying to be compassionate towards. They're actually using those people to make themselves feel better. Bad, don't like it.
That's pretty much exactly what this says. That you're
wrote the
doing it for
article.
yourself. You're really just trying to read the room and be the least offensive anything you could possibly be. You don't really believe in those things.
And it's not genuine.
You're just doing it because that's what people have told you is the polite thing to do.
I'm sorry.
Boring.
Yeah, you're boring. Quit being PC. That's why I like Bill Maher. He's not politically correct. He has a show that says he's not politically correct.
Okay.
Anything else to add?
I'm looking at the clock going, I can't get more of these in.
Finish with a flurry.
Jim
Ryan.
Carafano and Deroy Murdock in the 1 o'clock hour, and we'll maybe consider letting Ryan Wiggins come back in studio as well. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
All right. Are you sorry for that segment?
Yeah.
Well, read a little bit more. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at Triton Exteriors, specifically my friend Tim Nesbitt, who is the owner. He is from the customer service business, 20 years in the restaurant business. So the answer is yes. What's the question? Anything you need. Hospitality, personal service. We're upscale. We're a James Hardy company. Roofing and siding and gutters and great value. Tim just texted me and he beat the next closest bid by $15,000 just this week. You can call 314-717-1159 or triton-stl.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
At Smile Train, we understand that most children with clefts need a little extra care to help them grow healthy and strong. Visit smiletrain.org to learn how Smile Train is supporting the cleft community with lifelong smiles.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Ceasefire talks. Lisa Brady, Fox News. That's part of the focus as Israel's prime minister visits the White House.
We will continue to back fully Israel's right and capability to defend itself.
But National Security Advisor Michael Waltz also says a realistic timetable for rebuilding Gaza is needed, along with a solution for displaced people in the meantime. The Trump administration facing a new lawsuit over an executive order banning federal funding of gender transition treatments for those under age 19. Attorney General nominee Pam Bondi not yet confirmed. A Senate vote on her is expected today. Former Congressman and Iraq War veteran Doug Collins just winning bipartisan support to be VA secretary.
The yeas are 77, the nays are 23, and the nomination is confirmed.
Collins has pledged to cut regulations and work to improve the quality of veterans' care. Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s nomination to lead Health and Human Services advancing from committee to the full Senate on a party line vote.
Donald Trump said that he was going to allow Mr. Robert Kennedy to, quote, go wild on health.
Georgia Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock says Kennedy isn't qualified and will dabble in conspiracy theories. North Carolina Republican Senator Tom Tillis.
I, for one, think that it is time to put a disruptor in. It is time to put somebody in there that's going to go wild.
But Tillis also emphasizes oversight. Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy says Kennedy has given him commitments for unprecedented cooperation if confirmed. President Trump could make history as the first sitting president to attend a Super Bowl, reportedly planning to be there this Sunday in New Orleans.
Security is expected to be at its highest level for the game and the city. On New Year's Day, a deadly truck attack in New Orleans' French Quarter took the lives of 14 people.
Fox's Gernal Scott, Fox's Brett Baer will do a pre-game interview with the president. America's listening to Fox News.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose. And millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Quiet and cooler times across St. Louis on this Tuesday. Partly sunny skies, 48 for the high. That's a big change from yesterday. Tonight, cloudy skies, some rain moving in well after midnight, 35. Wednesday, clouds with periods of chilly rain. It's all rain, 49 degrees, rain, and a couple of spot thunderstorms Wednesday night. Thursday, partly sunny, 54. We've got more rain Friday and Saturday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guaranteed details at TurboTax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
I've just been feeling so sluggish lately. You should try the Metamucil 2-Week Challenge. The Metamucil 2-Week Challenge? Yeah, Metamucil 4-in-1 Fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Start your daily routine now, and in 2 weeks, you could be feeling great. Well, it's been 2 weeks. How you feeling? Lighter and feeling great.
If you want to feel lighter by promoting digestive health, sign up to take the 2-week challenge at Metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
97.1 FM Talk presents Talk in Action, where we shine a spotlight on local charities making a difference in our community. Join us as we give back and connect neighbors in need. Visit 971talk.com/talkinaction to learn more.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry
You're
Show.
now the head of USAID. The head of Doge, Elon Musk, called USAID a criminal organization and added that it is time for it to die. Do you agree with that?
They have basically evolved into an agency that believes that they're not even a U.S. government agency.
that they are a global charity, that they take the taxpayer money and they spend it as a global charity, irrespective of whether it is in the national interest or not in the national interest. One of the most common complaints you will get if you go to embassies around the world from State Department officials and ambassadors and the like is USAID is not only not cooperative, they undermine the work that we're doing in that country. They are supporting programs that upset the host government for whom we're trying to work with on a broader scale and so forth. So they're completely unresponsive. They just don't consider that they work for the U.S. They just think they're a global entity and that their master is the globe and not the United States. And that's not what the statute says, and that's not sustainable.
Well, Secretary of State Marco Rubio has been very busy since his confirmation, and the USAID developments over the last 48 hours. I think there's a lot of people getting really worked up about it, but they didn't know what USAID was before this week. I'm curious as to what our next guest thinks about this move so far. Jim Carafano joins us once again, senior counselor to the president and E.W. Richardson Fellow for International Engagement at the Heritage Foundation. Jim, welcome back. It's always good to have you here.
Yeah, so let me give you a little history lesson. So, look, I'm not against foreign aid. During the Cold War, foreign aid was run by the State Department, and the reason for that was because we were fighting the Soviet Union, and we were spending our money to drive outcomes that would help defend us and our allies against the Soviet Union. So if you think of things famously like, for example, the Marshall Plan, that was a program that was run by the State Department. Later on, after the Cold War, we decided to split out grant making from the State Department. And by the way, split out things like, you remember Voice of America, which used to be run by the State Department. And we spun these off as separate agencies because we were living in a world, where history had ended. We didn't have any enemies. And by having these organizations be relatively independent, we could say to the world, it's not America imposing its will upon you, it's America helping you. Well, two things happened. One is we elected yahoos like Joe Biden, who said, no, the purpose of these agencies isn't to help Americans or to help other people, it's to help us, right, to drive our political agenda. And the other thing that happened is we're actually facing real enemies, and we need to use foreign aid when we use it to help fight our enemies. And so we need to go back to a model in which we've centralized these authorities, just like the military, when it fights wars during World War II, the Army and the Navy and the Air Force didn't all fight separate wars. They fought under one unified command. So there's good reasons to centralize foreign aid and, to be honest with you, things like Voice of America under one centralized authority, because we're facing real enemies in China, Iran, and Russia. But I got to say one other thing is this politicization of aid. People have no idea how bad this has gotten. Now, I'll give you an example. I was talking to an ambassador to the United States who said they spent 90% of their time, 90%, being lectured by the State Department and USAID and all these other things about the Biden political agenda on things like LGBT rights, and 10% of our time on actually doing kind of foreign policy with the U.S. government. So this thing has gotten completely out of control, and the people that are defending USAID have no defense. The reality is look, I talked to Africans. I was in a major meeting with a bunch of Africans, and they said, look, we don't want foreign aid. You know why? Because we never see a nickel. 90% of the money that gets put into these programs gets consumed by the NGOs running the program. And at the end, there's almost no money to actually do the program. So people who are defending these programs, they're either stupid, they're the devil, or literally they are part of the machine that was profiting from these things, because literally these things had devolved into political agendas that were money laundering machines. And that's the truth of American foreign aid. Not everywhere, not everything in Ukraine, not everything with Israel or other places, but a significant portion of this thing was just a money laundering scheme.
We're speaking with Jim Carafano right now. I have so many questions, and I want to do it at a very basic level. I told you this last summer, was it 2 summers ago? We went, my producer and I, Brad and I, went to the border, and we went to McAllen, Texas, but we also got to go into a Catholic Charities and see up close and personal what Catholic Charities were doing. And I didn't know, like, there's a lot of talk out about Catholic Charities, but I didn't know any of that until I went in and saw it, and then I started researching it afterwards. And having talked to the people within Catholic Charities, those people in there couldn't even really articulate to me in a way that made me feel like this was totally on the up and up. There were just weird ways that things were discussed within that group. And you mentioned NGOs specifically, and I don't think that people listening right now, on the whole, really understand what an NGO is, why they operate, why they exist. Can you tell us from your perspective what an NGO is?
It's supposed to be a non-government organization, which means it's supposed to not be politically affiliated with the government. But
is that what they are?
NGO. Well, but that's kind of the joke. NGOs can take money from government. And these charities took billions of dollars from the U.S. government basically to be the foot soldiers in President Biden's human trafficking network. Basically, we paid them billions of dollars to do the last mile for the cartels. The cartels got them to the border, and then we literally took U.S. tax dollars and we paid billions of dollars to complete that transaction for the cartel and take illegal aliens into the United States. And they massively profited from this. And the whole time they said, oh, we're just doing good. We're helping out the U.S. government. We're helping out these poor migrants. We're just the good people here. And all the time they knew that essentially they were perpetuating the evil of human trafficking, and they were massively profiting from it. So, it just goes to show that you can corrupt anything. Catholic Charities, like I've been in the disaster response business for 30 plus years. Catholic Charities was widely regarded as the most effective and efficient charity in a disaster scenario in the world. If you wanted your money to do good, you wouldn't give it to the Red Cross. You'd give it to Catholic Charities. They have devolved into essentially a leftist money laundering machine.
And really under the radar. That's I think less so now. The
tragic thing is it's not under the radar because, much like you and I have been talking about illegal migration and what a disaster is going to be for the 4 years of the Biden administration, people have been talking about this NGO thing for years, and it's all in plain sight. It's like Inspector Renault in Casablanca. Like, I'm shocked to discover there's gambling going on in this establishment after they hand him his roulette winnings. The reality is that Biden's been getting away with this for years, and we just all turned a blind eye to it, and it's completely appalling.
It's devastating.
And then for these leftists to stand up and say that somehow the administration are the bad guys. Look, think about this. Basically, what they've said is, Musk is evil. What they basically said is auditing government spending, providing transparency in government spending, and identifying really egregious behavior that no normal human being would accept as okay, that somehow that's a threat to democracy. That's what they're saying.
We're speaking with Jim Carafano with the Heritage Foundation. So we've got the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, effectively running USAID now. And the NGOs, are they a separate but useful group of organizations to USAID? Do they operate hand in hand? What happens now that Marco Rubio is in charge?
Well, it's like football teams. Not all teams are created equal, but I got to say, we all complain about the military-industrial complex. What people haven't paid attention to is there is a humanitarian industrial complex. There are very large NGOs that are making massive amounts of money, mostly coming in from U.S. taxpayers, and all they care is that the money keeps flowing. They don't care about the outcomes. They don't care about the deliverables. All they care is that they make massive amounts of money. There's an association of this called the U.S. Global Leadership Coalition or something like that, USGLC, which is like an association of these NGOs. And they get all these retired generals and retired secretaries, and they all talk about how wonderful foreign aid is and how great this American humanitarian, impulse is. And, I went and briefed these guys after Trump got elected the first time, and I said, look, you guys have got to change your business model here. It says, this administration is interested on foreign policy that serves America's interests, not like you guys just keep doing whatever you want to do. and as long as you're getting money. And they looked at me and they're like, we don't care. And they literally spent 4 years fighting Trump on this, and they just kept doing exactly what they're doing. And now what's happened is Trump has come back. He knows what he's doing, and he's seen this game before, and he is not going to let them get away with this. And I just think they're a bunch of crooks.
Yeah. It's what it looks like. Last question. It's kind of the bring it all back to home question. If Marco Rubio takes over USAID, I don't know if they've got to burn the whole thing down and build something back up. Can the United States of America still be a charitable, giving country without the systems in place that are currently in place right now?
Well, yeah. I mean, the fact is there are actually a lot of very competent people in the Trump administration or who have worked with Donald Trump who know exactly how to do foreign aid in a way that focuses on outcomes and not making NGOs rich and not rewarding political friends. And they know how to do their job, and they can do their job. And there's lots of ways to deliver foreign aid. But, the funny thing is most of the world doesn't really want our foreign aid. They really, really don't. What they want is they want investment in their countries. And so mostly what they really want is they want companies to come in and invest in their countries. So this foreign aid thing is actually, it does more harm than good. It's like a lot of times not every bit, don't get me wrong. I mean, there were definitely things like PEPFAR, for example, that helped eliminate AIDS crisis in Africa. There are good programs. I'm not saying that, but a lot of these things are like parents who give their kids crack, because they want to help their kids. It's just not working. Making people addicted to, and the other thing is the money that does go into the country in these big programs, a lot of times it goes into the hands of oligarchs who just keep the money. And one of the biggest recipients of American foreign aid? George Soros' Open Society Foundation. So much of this money is funneled directly into those groups and their projects, which have a foreign policy all their own, which is not aligned with the United States.
Right. Bringing it all into the light. That's what it seems like is happening right now. And sometimes I look and I just feel like all the right people are really, really upset right now. It's kind of one of the ways to judge about it. Jim, thank you. We appreciate you. We look forward to having you back again soon.
All right. Thanks for having me. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Jim Carafano, Senior Counselor to the President and E.W. Richardson Fellow for International Engagement at the Heritage Foundation, on X at JJ Carafano. Go follow him. Tell him thanks for coming on the show. He's so great to us. All right, Deroy Murdock, usually a Wednesday. It's not Wednesday, but we're moving him up a day here. And who do we have next? Who do we have tomorrow at 1:05?
Senator Schmidt.
Okay, that's right. Senator Eric Schmidt. We asked him to come on the show. We were always asking him to come on the show. And he could come on at Deroy's time, and it turned out Deroy, I think, had an appointment or something at 1 o'clock tomorrow. So it just worked out. So we're going to talk to Deroy Murdock about how much winning can one individual voter handle. Well, we'll ask Deroy Murdock that question to see if he's sick of winning quite yet. Are you sick of winning? Let us go to the YouTube live chat poll here real quick as well. I haven't mentioned this on the show. I think Ryan mentioned it in a time check in the 12 o'clock hour. But on the Annie Fry YouTube channel, you can go to the live chat on the live broadcast right now. Do you support eliminating the Department of Education? Yes, no, or you're not really sure, but I do trust Trump. Those are your three options. Go there and vote. Tell us what you think.
For a long time, 'cause I like me better when I'm with you.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
IGotFloored.com is where you go online right now to shop at Michael's Flooring Outlet. Eventually, of course, you're going to want to go into one of their three locations in the St. Louis side. You are going to visit them maybe in Darting Prairie, the great store in Darting Prairie. Also in West County on Olive Boulevard, just a mile off 270 West on Olive. You can also visit them in St. Charles County on Main Street in Old Town St. Peters at Mid Rivers and Highway 70. But you can go right now, sitting at your desk, on your phone. Go to IGotFloored.com and start shopping great quality flooring with a great quality price. That's one of the things that you're going to get a commitment from this family-owned and operated business at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They care about the full customer experience. They proudly put their reviews from people from Google right on their website so that you can learn about the experience that other customers have had when they shop at Michael's Flooring Outlet. For that Smart Strand Mohawk Silk line of carpet, for the Revwood Select and Plus line of beautiful hardwood. Reach out to them, hardwood-looking floor. Reach out to them online. Find out how to get your estimate requested right there at the top of the website. It's all online at igotfloor.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon from my friends at Zero Res. February, of course, is the month for love. And when's the last time you gave your carpet the love and attention it really deserves? Have you gotten down on your hands and knees and adored how clean and refreshed it was? Or are you scared about what you might see or smell? Probably the latter. Keep in mind, not only is your carpet one of the biggest investments in your home, it's the biggest air filter in your home. So if your carpet hasn't been professionally cleaned, you're breathing unhealthy levels of nasty dirt, dander, and bacteria. So during the month of February, Zero Res is going to take care of that. It's the Love Your Rug special. Get 3 rooms Zero Resified starting at $119 plus a 4th room clean for free. And don't forget Dirt and Dander's favorite hiding place. That's your air ducts. This month takes $75 off when you get your air ducts professionally cleaned. Zero Res cleaned. Call Zero Res now at 314-474-2020. Make sure you mention my name or 97.1 FM Talk to get the special for the month of February. Call now, 474-2020, or online at ZeroResSTL.com. You spell it backward or forward, it spells the same. Zero Res.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-859-5500. 800-859-5500. Again, that's 800-859-5500.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Prices are going up in 2025 on HVAC equipment. Save now with 2024 pricing on a new system today. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com/new.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Monday afternoon, Jennifer Say will join from XXXY Athletics. She used to run Levi. She's got an amazing Super Bowl ad featuring Riley Gaines.
The Mark Reardon Show. Weekdays from 3 to 6. Right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
I do my hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling?
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling?
Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Every one of your people knows Elon. Listen. So everybody keeps, the problem is you have a framework in your mind that how can Donald Trump? Guys, can we cut it out? Donald Trump is not an idiot. Donald Trump, let me just be very clear. Donald Trump is smarter than me, you, and all critics. You know why we know? Because he has the White House, the Senate, the House.
Totally agree.
The popular vote. He has a massive media ecosystem bigger than the mainstream built around him and for him, and a religious fervor in a political movement around him. And his best buddy is the richest person in the history of the world, and the most relevant Kennedy is with him. This dude is a phenomenon. He is the most powerful human on earth and in our lifetime. And we're still saying, well, how was this guy? We look like idiots to ordinary.
You're totally right.
That's Van Jones just putting it all out there right now, really recognizing this moment in time. And we've talked about this, but the Democrats and their reaction to this moment, and they're pulling their hair out. They can't believe the breakneck pace with which Donald Trump is working to make America great again and putting America first. It seems to me like Van Jones probably gets it. Let's find out what Deroy Murdock thinks about that on a Tuesday afternoon. Nationally syndicated columnist, Project 21 ambassador, and Fox News contributor. Deroy, welcome back. What do you think about Van Jones's assessment there of our president?
Well, I think Van Jones is right. The funny thing is Van Jones is not a man of the right. He's a man of the left, and yet he seems to have a pretty realistic understanding of the really dire situation which the Democrats find themselves. They're just completely outflanked, outpaced, and outcrafted and outshined by Trump at almost every turn. And in return, they don't seem to have any clear sense of where to go. They just elected a guy named Ken Martin as the head of the Democrat National Committee. Oddly enough, they put a white male heterosexual in to run the DNC. Imagine that. And his view is that basically everything's great, that Biden did a great job, they've done nothing wrong, and they just need to go out and pitch even more left-wing ideas, and that's going to be their path back to power. So, go ahead, do that sort of thing. I think they'll make themselves even less relevant than they are now, which is at the moment not that relevant.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching some polling coming back right now, and it doesn't seem like the Democrats have yet to make their case. And it's, Donald Trump's been president for a few weeks once again, but he's been anticipated to be so since November of last year when he won the election. I don't know that the Democrats have really gotten some footing yet on who they are going to be in contrast to Donald Trump as the president of the United States.
Well, I think that's part of it. And maybe to give them a little bit of credit, I suppose, I sent an email to a friend of mine who's in the administration. This was about 24 hours ago after Canada said that it was going to cave into the pressure from the White House and put 10,000 troops on the northern border. Mexico said they're going to put 10,000 of their troops on the southern border and cooperate with immigration and whatnot. And I just wrote, "Dear John, I am sick of winning, Deroy." Every 2 hours is something else. I mean, I'm going to write an op-ed about this. I wrote down like 12 or 13 things between now and I think about 10 o'clock in the morning. And since then, this is literally since 10 a.m., I've added Denmark is going to increase U.S. military presence in Greenland. Let's see, El Salvador has agreed to take not just El Salvadoran violent criminals, they're going to take people from any country who we want to send down there. And then let's see, apparently they're preparing a memo or an executive order to abolish the Department of Education. That's been literally like the last 4 hours. So, I mean, you can't keep up with the pace of stuff that's happening, and it's each one is sort of like a conservative dream come true, and I'm sure that the people on the left are just not knowing what to do because they just can't keep up with this incredible, unbelievable pace of change.
Deroy, what is it about Donald Trump that is so effective in getting these outcomes?
I just think it goes to show what a little bit of leadership will do. When you know what you want to do, you have a plan to do it, and you execute on it, and you surround yourself with intelligent, equally energetic people and say, okay, on your marks, get set, go. It's just been one thing after another. And unlike Joe Biden, who spent 40% of his presidency on vacation, this man seems like he gets up at 7 in the morning. He goes to sleep about 5 a.m. And in those intervening 22 hours, he just works nonstop. He's got the executive orders going, and he's got statements. Today, meeting, or I think it's actually, I think it's today, meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel. There doesn't seem to be a moment where the man is not working very hard to deliver on exactly the promises that he made to American people. And another thing is nobody should be surprised by anything he's doing. I mean, everything he's done is like, well, he ran on it. He talked about it over and over on the campaign trail. So, none of this stuff should surprise anybody. This is his campaign agenda, and he got elected. And now he's turning his campaign agenda into public policy.
Yeah, this is what we voted for. If you voted for Donald Trump, he said what he's going to do, and he's getting right to it.
He's doing it.
Yeah. Deroy Murdock speaking with us right now. We kind of talked about this a little bit in the beginning of our show today, but you have to hear Joe Biden's name to remember that he even existed. It's not taken very long at all for us to really be in this new way of especially news reporting and discussion here on a radio talk show. But when I think about whatever this Trump administration does, to me, there's no doubt that it all funnels through Donald Trump, that he is the final say on all of the things that are coming through his administration. And what makes me a little bit nervous is I fear that Joe Biden was the buck stopper on none of it. So whatever that entity was that was those last 4 years, it still exists somewhere, maybe in the shadows in the swamp. But how do we know that way of thinking, the Biden administration way of thinking, isn't waiting to rear its ugly head once again should maybe we lose the House or something in the midterms or potentially the presidency in the next 4 years?
Oh, that's absolutely a risk. Look, just because Trump is winning like crazy right now doesn't mean the left is just going to, go away and hide, or they're suddenly going to become MAGA and join us. I mean, some people have. Obviously, Tulsi Gabbard's done so, and RFK Jr.'s done so. Some people might think, okay, it's better to switch than to fight, I imagine. But there are a lot of people who believe this crazy left-wing stuff, and a lot of them are out there saying, the reason that Kamala Harris lost the election was that she wasn't hardcore left-wing enough, and so they need to double and triple, quadruple down on the transgender nonsense, on the global warming chaos, massive spending, huge regulation, censorship, and so on. And from what I can gather if you watch the Democrat National Committee select its new leaders over the weekend, I didn't hear anything about tax cuts. I didn't hear anything about school choice. I didn't hear anything about deregulation. I heard a lot about DEI. I heard a lot about gender. There are a couple absolutely comical moments where they kind of went through the voting rules, and they said, well, for the next person we're voting for, you can vote for one man, one woman, one person of either gender, or a non-binary person. But then if it's non-binary, they got slipped up. I mean, the guy speaking had to stop and bring some woman in to explain it. She got in the middle of her thing, and she got tripped up. She couldn't. So these people, they're not even able to follow their nonsense.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like a giant comedy sketch, except it's called the Democrat Party.
Yeah, and fortunately, it's in like I said earlier in the show, they're playing in the loser bracket right now, which is fine with me. I was thinking about the tariffs, the tariff conversation surrounding Donald Trump. He loves tariffs. He's told us, leading up to the election, the campaign, he said I remember him saying something like, it's the most beautiful word, tariff. And now we're seeing him do it in action. He applies tariffs in the morning. They're off because he gets what he wants by the evening. And it's working wonderfully, at least thus far. And I can't help but notice that the left incrementally is freaking out about the cost of goods going up under tariffs. Now, all of a sudden, they care that things are going to cost more than they did before. Where was that the last 4 years or even the last 20 years where they were willing to ask us to change our entire lifestyle and the cost of everything on behalf of their virtuous climate change, which is why we always had to pay more things. Why do they all of a sudden care about the cost of goods and attaching that to tariffs?
I think the only thing is that they think they can hurt Trump by saying, "Oh, he's making costs more expensive and making the country less affordable." They had their Green New Deal and Build Back Better and all the various massive spending programs. They never talked about, gee, this might cost people some money. That never came up. And I think this was I think it was 3 or 4 days after Trump got in, sometime last week or the week before that. Somebody said, "Well, you've been in office and prices aren't coming down." I mean, it's not even a week. I mean, come on, you need a little bit of time for this stuff to kick in. It's astonishing. But yeah, they didn't talk much about prices or increased costs. Remember, inflation was transitory and probably a hallucination. We didn't know how good we had it, and now Trump is in it, so they're screaming for a different hymnal, saying, "Oh, he's increasing prices, and Trump is the cause of inflation." Rather an opportunistic, if not totally hypocritical approach on the part of the Democrats.
Last question before we let you go. We're speaking with Deroy Murdock, Fox News contributor, nationally syndicated columnist, and Project 21 ambassador. I think one of the biggest criticisms of the first go-around, the first term of Donald Trump, was the people he surrounded himself by. He didn't know what he didn't know, and apparently he didn't know a lot. Lessons learned. Compared to me, the selection of people he surrounded himself this time and the people who he's put into a position to advise him and to help him that he can delegate to compared to the first term.
I think in the first term, two things. One is he was new to government, and I think he basically thought, well, these people have experience, let's bring them in. So-and-so has been recommended by such and such, so put this person into a big position, Rex Tillerson at the State Department, for example. And a lot of these people just didn't share his views. Some of them I don't think were terribly personally crazy about him. And I think a lot of these people either dragged their feet when it came to implementing his ideas, or they actually sabotage things by leaking stories or cooperating with the other side or whatever it might be. I think the people who are there now are people he knows, people he trusts, people who really believe in the America First agenda. And so we're not going to lose a lot of time and effort fighting internally with people who are in the White House or in the various agencies that the president controls. And instead, we'll be able to focus our attention on people on the outside, people on the left, the Democrats who are getting in the way. So I think part of the reason he's having so much success now is he's got people who are in the boat rowing in the same direction rather than in the boat rowing in the opposite direction. That's a big difference, and a very positive one.
Look at how fast they're going as well, that's for sure.
Absolutely right, yeah.
All right, Deroy, I know you're sick of winning, but I'll talk to you next week and hope you're equally as sick of winning next week.
I'll be even more sick of winning next week.
We got so much time ahead of us. We appreciate it.
You bet.
Take care.
All right. Thanks, Andy.
All right, bye-bye. Deroy Murdock, nationally syndicated columnist, Fox News contributor, Project 21 ambassador. Check out Project 21 if you haven't yet. I think you'll be entertained by many of the people who are involved in that really awesome project. Great to talk to Deroy on a Tuesday, and he's absolutely right. Like, the amount of winning, if you voted for this, that you feel right now is just kind of, it's hard to take it all in. You feel like you're going to miss things because so much is happening. Conversely, the people who voted very much so knowingly against the things that Donald Trump said he was going to do, they're not doing so great right now. And my hope and prayer is genuinely that they come around to see why these policies are better than what we were doing before. I think the idea, I don't do this very often, but I might go back and listen to that conversation with Jim Carafano once again, because his comments on USAID and how our money has been paraded through these NGOs, these entities that are in existence to help other people, but what it turns out is they're really just money gobblers, taxpayer gobblers that don't utilize the position they're in to actually perform aid that is best for the people who they're performing it for. That's frustrating. That's frustrating to learn. It's also really not terribly surprising, but Secretary of State Marco Rubio, now in charge of USAID, and that conversation with Jim Carafano at the beginning of the 1 o'clock hour, very interesting to hear his perspective on that, and really straight talk on how ineffective USAID and these other, air quotes, charitable organizations with your money, what kind of good they're doing, and in converse, what kind of bad they're actually doing. All right, let's get Ryan Wiggins back in the studio. We'll allow it. YouTube live chat poll, do you support eliminating the Department of Education? Donald Trump is dancing around this conversation right now, floating it out there. And usually he does this and then he takes some sort of action in the near future. Is the Department of Education on the chopping block? That's a big one, don't you think? What do you think? Do you want to see it? Do you want to see it gone? Yes, no, or you're not really sure, but you do trust Trump? Annie Fry YouTube channel in the live chat. Go vote in the poll. We'll be right back.
Gotta take a deep breath, time to focus on you. All the big fights, long nights.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan is one phone call away. 314-324-4440. That's a lot of fours. 314-324-4440. The Bagel Loan is special. It's a way to get your mortgage without paying any closing costs to do it. That could be a brand new mortgage on a new home purchase, or like I have done twice with Stewart's American Mortgage, a refinance. Both times I was able to lower my rate. I have a really nice low rate right now. Got the second one in 2020 when they were super low. Was able to take some money out of the house, the home equity that a lot of our home equity has gone up over the course of the last 10 years, and replace the deck on our home. Maybe you're looking to consolidate some debt. Maybe you're looking at making an improvement on your home. Whatever you need, if you're going to do that cash out refinance, you need Stewie, because why would you pay closing costs on that refinance if you don't have to? If you're looking to buy a new home, same deal. 314-324-4440. Call him or text Stewie at 314-324-4440 or Google the Bagel Loan. NMLS number 226715.
Hey guys, it's Mark Reardon. If you're struggling with low energy, performance issues, or weight gain, Game Day Men's Health has got you covered with testosterone therapy, ED treatments, and more in all of a relaxed man cave environment. At Game Day, you'll get a free testosterone test and consultation, all in just 1 hour. Game Day is the premier men's health clinic with locations in Chesterfield, O'Fallon, Missouri, and Glen Carbon, Illinois. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Get back in the game with Game Day Men's Health.
Do you support eliminating the Department of Education? The choices are yes, no, or I'm not sure, but I trust Trump. That's an honest answer. YouTube live chat poll of the day. Do you support eliminating the Department of Education? Let us know by typing in Annie Fry on YouTube. And then today's date will come up along with our live stream. You can watch us there and listen to the show too. 141. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Their parent gave everything for our nation, but when support fades, who stands with them? Join the Precious Legacy at Rhythm and Brews Fest on March 8th in St. Charles. Learn more at 971talk.com/talkinaction.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
I know how big of a David Hogg fan you are.
I'm a hogger.
That's what they call themselves.
Mm-hmm. We call ourselves.
Yeah. That and
Yeah.
Doug Burgum. It's a weird intersection of affinity.
What was the Doug Burgum one?
I don't know.
I think it was Burgumites.
You said, yeah. You were in the fan club.
Yeah.
I think an officer in it.
I was the Treasury Secretary in the Burgumites.
The Treasury Secretary.
Yeah, I was the Secretary of the Interior of the Burgumites, which ended up being so ironic.
You got to explain that on your resume.
Yeah, it's hard.
So are you saying you're the Secretary of Interior? Well, no, not exactly.
No, I was the Secretary of the Interior for the eventual Secretary of the Interior, but by the time he got that position, I had been demoted.
One of the posts that David Hogg put on X/Twitter. When did Musk buy it? What year?
22?
Well, this is in April of 2022. So I don't know if this was Elon Musk Twitter or X, or if it was not whoever owned it. What was it? No, who owned it before?
Jack Dorsey.
No, not Jack Dorsey.
Oh.
He wasn't in charge when Elon Musk
there was
got
like
it.
there was an interim group. I think
Yeah.
Jack Dorsey was still involved, but he wasn't the main
He was like an
owner.
advisor, but he was embarrassed by them.
Yeah.
We get it. This is what he put on in April of 2022. Quote, regarding his thoughts and opinions on politics. How radical, you ask? I don't think anybody should have over $1 billion in assets. There should be 100% tax after your first billion. I think we need to do what Australia did in regards to guns. We need universal health care, free college for all, legalize all drugs.
Yeah, okay.
That's the Democratic Party. I go back to the statistic that I said at the beginning of maybe the beginning of the show where I was talking about how unpopular the Democratic Party is. There is a 57% unfavorable rating right now of the Democratic Party, according to a Quinnipiac poll from January.
Wow.
57% say mm-mm.
That's unusually high.
Favorable, 31%.
That's unusually low for them.
But the party sucks, so.
You ask what exactly do they stand for, and if you take Donald Trump out of the conversation, the answer would be
exactly what that.
What?
Well, what David Hogg just said. That's who they just voted for.
Oh, I see. I see the connection. Yeah. Good job. You're professional.
Welcome. Come to the exterior.
You do a great job. There are times that I'm listening to the show and I'm like, dang, that was a good point. I wish I could comment, but I can. Wait.
Is it during Wiggins America?
No. I actually thought, I'll tell you the truth. During the monologue today, during the opening of the show, you tied together the Democrats asking you to raise costs for the sake of everyone for climate change to yesterday's freak out over something that had not actually raised any prices for a different, better cause, and said, why is one better than the other? I love that. I thought that was very good. You should get the podcast if you don't know what I'm talking about.
I'm going to be honest. I'm not 100% sure what you're talking about.
You didn't plan that?
Are you talking about me saying that when government asks you to spend more money, that if the Democrats say, you need to spend more money, it's the right thing to do, we need to save the planet. Climate change. We're supposed to all nod and go, here's my money.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I'm saying.
And when Donald Trump says you might have to spend more money if they're not going to work with us and make good deals that benefit the American people, then it might cost you a little bit more money to buy crap from China. And we're not supposed to say, okay, take my money. And then he puts the tariffs on our neighboring countries, and they're like, we don't want tariffs, at least not for 30 days. And then the prices don't go up. Imagine if you bought maple syrup yesterday, just like in the window.
Mm-hmm. It would have been like buying, a 40-pack of toilet paper in February of 2020.
Buy low, sell high.
Exactly.
I'm sitting on something big here.
And you never know. You never really know, do you?
No. What's your favorite Canadian good?
Bacon.
That's not even true. Canadian bacon sucks.
I like Canadian bacon. I like it better than regular ham on pizza.
What about actual bacon?
I don't love actual bacon on pizza.
I'm not. Nobody entered pizza into the chat.
I did.
No, you can't. You did midstream. There is no pizza.
But that's the way I consume these goods.
Canadian bacon versus American Southern Illinois pig bacon.
Yeah.
You going Trudeau?
I know. You just convinced me.
Bacon. Regular bacon.
Yeah. You take pizza out of the equation.
This goes back to your McDonald's
I'd rather
hamburger.
have actual bacon on a pizza. See Emos.
I would not. Unless they're long strips of bacon. If they're crumbled up bacon, I don't really like that as much. It changes the texture too much of the pizza.
To what?
Crunchy. I don't want a crunchy
You
pizza.
want soft?
I do. I like New York style a lot. Yeah, soft pizza. I like everything I eat to be nice and soft, like an old man. I can just gum it.
There we went too far. I had a chance to rein it in, and I missed my opportunity.
Yes, you did. It's really on you. You can see it coming by the look in my eye.
The best thing coming out of Canada is Canadian bacon.
Mm-hmm.
Brad?
This is going to be really in the weeds, but it's
Shania Twain.
It's an
Mike Myers.
Not bad. No,
Beaver.
it's an exhaust system company, MBRP. They make great sounding exhaust systems, but not everybody's going to like that. But that's my favorite thing out of Canada.
Ryan?
So what does an exhaust do?
It takes the exhaust out of your
makes you go
engine
like this.
and puts it outside your car.
So
So
it sucks up the car's farts.
What?
And it puts them somewhere else.
You just call those carts.
Annie?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
You're the one talking about exhaust systems here.
Yeah, it's a performance exhaust system. I think they sound great.
Annie, I think that actually was a terrific answer to
Sure,
your question. It was
yeah.
so specific that he knew that thing
And then
was
you
made in
asked
Canada.
him, what does an exhaust do? And then you talked about farts.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been great.
I didn't have anything to add to his great answer. And I just had shame in response to yours.
I understand. I think a lot of people who are associated with me feel that way.
Regular syrup or maple syrup?
Maple.
Every time, right?
Absolutely. But you don't have to get that from Canada. That's what's tough.
I don't know that you do. I get mine from Walgreens. and it's the off-brand. And I don't know that it's, I don't know. I've never really looked into it. But I have maple syrup that if we have any type of breakfast thing or whatever, I go with maple syrup. Everybody else has got the whatever you call Aunt Jemima now in the pantry.
Mm-hmm.
And just in the last month, I think it was my 8-year-old Evelyn goes, Mom, when did you first find out you liked maple syrup? And I was like, I don't know. And then later on I was thinking about it. I'm like, I know exactly the answer to this question. Cracker Barrel.
Oh, the little hot bottles. Those are so good.
That syrup tastes different. It's maple syrup, right?
It is, and they heat it up, and it's, oh gosh. I don't know what it is about that. It's so good.
There's not, I don't know about all the other breakfast places out there, but maple syrup doesn't seem like it's standard issue other places the way that it is like if you're getting a breakfast at Cracker Barrel, you're getting maple syrup with it.
Yeah, you can tell when it's fake, either fake or it's somewhat fake, because some of them have some maple syrup in it and they kind of add
like
to
a
it.
flavor, yeah.
Yeah, but the faker it is, the more gooey it is.
Because maple syrup's pretty runny.
Maple syrup is, it's kind of thin.
Versus what you would get from Aunt Jemima is really thick and sticky and all that type of stuff.
I told Brad this yesterday. In 2012, I don't know if I told you the full context of it because we were talking about maple syrup. But in 2012,
we have off air.
Yeah, Katie and I, we were about to have kids. We're like, let's take an international vacation. Oh wait, we can't afford an international vacation. How about let's go to Canada? And so that's the only time.
Is that not international?
Well, I guess overseas is what we're thinking. International is correct. But we thought.
Guess what, Katie?
Actually,
we can do it.
We were talking about taking let me clarify, a European vacation.
Yeah, that's different.
And we said, well, we can't afford a European vacation.
Also international, as is Canada.
Yes. How about if we go to French Canada and make it feel like it's Europe? And it actually worked. Mm-hmm. It was a lot cheaper to do, and it was a lot of fun. We went in the summer. And one of the things we did while we were there is we took a little tour. We were up near Quebec City, and they have this little island, I can't remember the name of it, in the St. Lawrence River that is all artisan, and there's a lot of maple syrup made there. So we got to go through and see the process for how they make maple syrup and all of everything that goes into it. And they just hook these spigots up to these trees, and that water just drips out of those trees into these little lines or buckets, however they do it. And then it's amazing to me how much of that maple water it takes to get one bottle of maple syrup. That's why it's so expensive, because it takes like 2 or 3 buckets of this stuff to boil down into one little bitty jar of maple syrup.
You ever had poutine?
Well, while we were there, we tried to stop and get it, and the place had closed right before we walked up, and so we never got it.
I blame Trudeau.
You blame him that we didn't get it at that time?
No, that this place closed. Do you mean for the night or for good? Everything I know about Canada, other than maple syrup, is from Canada and Epcot.
Uh-huh. That one thing they did sell there, and I think they probably sell these in Vermont and some of the northern New England, is a little candy. And Dad, if you're listening, I want this more often for Christmas. He used to get them for me. They're these little maple candies that they boil it down to maple syrup. Then they boil it down again to like a
taffy or like a caramel would be, but maple.
Yeah, there's something in between between syrup and this candy, because it's like, it's kind of taffy-ish.
Butter?
I can't remember. But once they get it all the way down to this candy, it's like buckets and buckets and buckets of this maple water go into one little bitty piece of candy because they have to condense it so much. But it is so good. It's like maple sugar. And when you put it in your mouth, it's not hard candy, but it's hard enough to hold. When you put it in your mouth, it dissolves in your mouth. And it is so good. And it is 100% pure. And it's got to be expensive, because that's one of the only times I've had it like in person was right there in Canada. But my dad did find it from Vermont. And Dad, Christmas, I want more of those.
You just had a moment.
I did.
He had his eyes closed when he was talking about it.
Oh, I mean, those things were so good. I was so surprised.
Wipe your mouth a little bit.
Sorry.
I just think that the tariff, I said this yesterday, I'll say this again, people were freaking out about tariffs on both sides of the aisle a bit more than other particular issues. I also understand that we're 3 weeks into this, so maybe things take a turn down the road and something happens and it's not what we think is the best and he's got to change course or whatever. But I don't know why it's difficult to look at the tariff question and say he's using it as a negotiating tool. And if tariffs are going to inflict pain economically on it's, as I understand it, the products that are being made elsewhere, why that wouldn't ultimately, I mean, if people want more than anything to get into the American market, why would you not use that to your advantage so that you have a fair reciprocal relationship? And if we're not being treated fairly, obviously there are things that these countries, one after the other, feel that maybe they do need to do a solid towards the American government and the American people, because Donald Trump says, I need you to take these people. And they're like, no. And he's like, fine. And they're like, okay. I mean, like, this happens in the course of hours of time. I just trust Donald Trump. And I'm not really a trusting person. I don't trust government. But everything he's doing right now, it seems to be working. And I don't know how long it can stay that way, but it just seems to be working. The YouTube poll, do you support eliminating the Department of Education? Brad, any major thoughts on this right away?
Yeah, I am 100% in favor of this. I think that there's nothing that the federal Department of Education does that couldn't be handled better at the state or local level. So, done with that. I mean, let's get rid of it. Move on. It's not doing what it's supposed to do.
Ryan?
I am actually a yes on this, but if it's right now, I'm a no. I don't think that this should be day number third week priority.
Why?
I think that this is intertwined a little bit too much. And maybe they've already done all this background work because they knew, hey, we got elected. So if that's the case, then that's the case.
I don't think that they just thought of this idea on Monday.
I don't either. I just want to make sure there's so many things that the Department of Education could do from a federal level that could actually be good.
Like
that
what?
I want to make sure we're not punting on those things. And this is stuff Trump's talked about, so possibly he's already doing it. But funding school districts that are pushing full choice. He said that. I want to make sure that doesn't have to happen through the Department of Education. Apparently, he's got another way to do it.
Let's talk more about it in the next hour. We need your thoughts and your comments as well on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. So go to youtube.com/@AnnieFry and vote if you support eliminating the Department of Education. Yes, no, or you're not sure, but you trust Trump. You can leave your vote there, and we will discuss in the 2 o'clock hour. Don't go away.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, health care, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Drury Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Drury Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
You've got thoughts. Did you know you also have a microphone? Listen to 97.1 on the Odyssey app and click the microphone to leave a voice message. Whatever's on your mind. Let us know by clicking the microphone in the Odyssey app. KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
The Justice Department is being sued. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. And the plaintiffs are FBI agents who don't want their names made public.
A class action complaint asks a judge to immediately halt the Justice Department's plan to compile a list of FBI agents who participated in January 6th investigations and the classified documents case against President Trump. The agents say the DOJ request could be a precursor to mass firings. The agents who brought the suit are not identified, but instead referred to as anonymous John and Jane Does. Also, they were told earlier this week to fill out surveys about their involvement in the cases. President Trump has accused the FBI and Justice Department of becoming weaponized to target political enemies.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Director of National Intelligence nominee Tulsi Gabbard just clearing a hurdle with the Intel Committee, voting along party lines to send her to the full Senate. Health and Human Services nominee Robert F. Kennedy Jr. also advancing in a party line committee vote earlier today. Protests outside the Office of Personnel Management in Washington calling out Elon Musk and his moves to cut government waste.
Hey, Elon, what do you say? How many lives have you ruined today?
Union groups are suing the new Treasury Secretary over Musk's access to the department's payment systems. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer calls the Musk-led efforts a hostile takeover of the federal government.
Elon Musk is hitting back at Schumer, saying, quote, he's mad that Doge is dismantling the radical left shadow government in full view of the public. This is our one chance to return power to the people from an unelected bureaucracy back to democracy.
Fox Business's Hillary Vaughn on the Hill. USAID, the agency responsible for foreign aid, remains remains under review after the headquarters were shut down, a move Democrats call illegal. Sweden's prime minister calls it his country's worst mass shooting. About 10 people killed, including the gunman, at an adult education center. They're still trying to confirm a motive. America is listening to Fox News.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose. And millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Quiet and cooler times across St. Louis on this Tuesday. Partly sunny skies, 48 for the high. That's a big change from yesterday. Tonight, cloudy skies, some rain moving in well after midnight, 35. Wednesday, clouds with periods of chilly rain. It's all rain, 49 degrees, rain, and a couple of spot thunderstorms Wednesday night. Thursday, partly sunny, 54. We've got more rain Friday and Saturday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house, and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo, because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home. The brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco, they can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years, Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO, easy to remember phone number, or go online today at 877-25-RHINO.com.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-230-9333. 314-230-9333. That's 314-230-9333.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guaranteed details at TurboTax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Eggland's Best, the only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Available in so many delicious varieties: classic, cage-free, organic, free-range, and pasture-raised. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Submit your favorite fish fry at 971talk.com/events. We're taking the show on the road every Friday during Lent, and we're looking for suggestions. It's Fish Fry Fridays on The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
After extensive consideration, conversations with her in my office, attending the hearing, questioning her there, and listening to her in the closed session, I decided to vote that I will vote for her. I believe she's committed to strengthening our national security.
Senator Susan Collins talking about her yes vote for Tulsi Gabbard. And Fox News reports that Tulsi Gabbard has passed a key committee hurdle on Tuesday, that's today, and her nomination will now head to the Senate floor, where she will get a final confirmation vote. President Trump has tapped Gabbard, a former Democratic congresswoman, to be director of national intelligence in the second term. I'm pleased that the Senate Intelligence Committee voted to advance the nomination of Tulsi Gabbard to be the Director of National Intelligence. Once confirmed, I look forward to working with Ms. Gabbard to keep America safe and to bring badly needed reforms to the office of the Director of National Intelligence. This from Senate Select Committee on Intelligence Chairman, Senator Tom Cotton. What's the first thing you do if you're Tulsi Gabbard and you get confirmed?
Man, I have no idea what that position entails, other than that there's been a lot of corruption in those agencies. So how do you go about getting the corruption out? Is it individuals that you have to target to get rid of them? Is it a whole philosophy change? I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I like these people in theory, but I hope that they know administratively what they're getting into, because I don't.
I think one of the things you look at is, how do I change this from, like, once you're out, you can't keep profiting off of your security clearances, that sort of thing. People like Brennan and Clapper shouldn't be able to go on CNN and say, oh, well, my security clearance, I know this, and this. Once you're not doing it anymore, I think your security clearance should be revoked. So one of the things I would look at doing is just making it a policy that once you're out of the agency, whatever agency it is you're working for, that your top secret, whatever security clearance, once you don't need that anymore, it's revoked. You can go apply for a new one when you go into a new position within the government or whatever. But I would revoke that, and hopefully that would help discourage people from using that as a way to springboard into something that isn't national security related.
The FBI's intelligence activities are overseen by the Director of National Intelligence. The National Intelligence Office oversees coordination of relationships with the intelligence or security services of foreign governments and international organizations. If someone said, Ryan, I'm gonna show it all to you. You're gonna go behind the curtain and you're gonna get to learn all of these things, like whatever Tulsi Gabbard's potentially likely about to get access to. Are you doing it?
Yeah, I would do it. There are not a whole lot of people that I trust to not be corrupted, and I know myself well enough to think that I could do it. I don't know enough about the organization to think I could go in and like be a great administrator, but I know that I would trust myself enough to think I could go in and not be corrupted by the system that it was.
I'm not asking you to do the job. I'm just asking if you want to know the stuff.
Oh yeah, I do. I would like to know it.
All or nothing.
All. Let's go for it. Because if I knew it, then I knew that something could be done about it, and that's what concerns me. That's why I like.
That's not necessarily true. You could know it and then know that nothing could be done about it.
Well, I would die knowing that I tried to do everything I could, and I would be okay with that.
Would you want to know?
If it's an all or nothing, I think I'm going to say, yeah, I would want to know, because I'd rather, know what I need to know, even if it includes the stuff that I don't really want to know, than not knowing any of it.
What if it's like some Matrix kind of a situation where you have no, like, I don't, what do we know? I mean, if nothing that we really understand, that the comfy, casual flow of life that you live under the protection of what those people do know and how they protect us from the things we don't even realize exist, foreign and domestic. Would you be willing to sacrifice? I mean, because obviously if you could do something about it to stop it, or what I think is more likely is the amount of threats that we're under, or the amount of people who want to cause harm here, I bet it's just infinite. Like when we see, for instance, a New Orleans New Year's Day attack, or New Year's Eve or whatever it technically was, when you see something like that happen and that one got through, how many are we stopping at any given point? Really, early on someone is Googling something and they're stupid and they're sloppy and so they get caught and they get put away. But if they get through, or if they're a little smarter than the average bear, something bad ends up happening. Would you want to know that? I mean, I certainly wouldn't want to know anything about it if I couldn't do anything about it. I would rather live in a way that I could live what we consider to be a normal life with my family. I'm a worrier as it is. I just feel like if you were to have access to all of that information and not be able to do anything about it, and I would assume that there's a lot of the stuff that they are doing, you go to work and you do the best you can and you hope and pray it's enough. There'd be a lot of pressure to know that stuff. Absolutely,
but there is always something you could do, even if it was like, oh my gosh, this is so deeply entrenched that nobody will ever change this. If you're I'm assuming you're saying you would be the director of national intelligence, not just that you get access to it, but you would be that.
My question to you was just that you could
just
know.
that you get access to it?
If you could look and you could know.
Yeah.
It's not about affecting change. It's about just, would you want to know everything there is to know if you could?
That's a tougher question because...
That was the question.
That's why it's a good one.
Thank you.
Because you could then go to the press or whatever and say, look at everything that I know now.
Don't you think that would be potentially catastrophic?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't, like a lot of this stuff, I don't think that the public knowing it really makes anything any better.
Well, yeah, it depends on what it is.
It caused panic. A lot of people are talking in the chat about the drones. Caroline Leavitt came out and she's like, the drones were approved to fly by the FAA. Are we all like, oh, okay. I'm not.
No, that didn't answer that question.
She said that they were approved. But whose drones were
For
they?
what?
And what were they flying there
Yeah.
for? Like, I still have questions, and I want to know the answers, and I would like to know the answers. They did address the fact that it wasn't some foreign adversary that was, through some sort of evil intent flying over our country. But if they're American government contractors or whatever that are aware of a threat and they were sweeping Jersey for some kind of material and practicing there for whatever particular reason, why did you feel you needed to do that so publicly? Are we being desensitized to seeing drones in the sky? Like, just have a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I want answers. I want to trust the people who have answers, but I don't know if that's going to happen either.
That came at the beginning of her first press conference that Caroline Leavitt said that.
It was right. She did her press conference, and then right before she went to take questions, she's like, "Oh, one word of note from the president.
Yeah,
we knew about the drones,
Yeah.
or the government did."
Right, and then let's go on.
Yeah,
yeah. It was like, wait a minute, but you had so many other questions because it was her first press conference. It was like nobody ever brought it back up.
So if you just could know, would you want to know? You can't. I mean, you just get to look. You get the infinite access to all the information on your computer. You're allowed to look at it. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, I want to know. I'm too curious to say no.
You guys both. That's a commitment.
Mm-hmm.
It's a burden.
Especially if it ends up being the Matrix. That you're like,
Why?
oh, this is all a simulation. Oh man.
What's the likelihood it is?
I'd say 100%.
Okay.
We're living in a
the physics that
the simulation.
people talking about theoretical physics, they're like, the chances that we're not living in some sort of higher beings world are very low. Because the probability of that happening is higher than if it weren't happening.
What would you do with all that information, Brad?
Well, I would prepare myself and my family.
For what? You gonna
whatever
fight
I
back
learn
against the nuclear attack from Iran?
Or maybe move to an area where Iran is less likely to strike. I mean, you're going to have the access to what they plan to do, and you'll probably have best targets. And so you go, well, in this area is not one of the best targets. It's low likelihood of being attacked, and so I would maybe move there.
But that's the point. Like, you would change your entire life around some information that you read that was possible that could happen, which I assume, because I don't know, and I'm not 100%, like, for sure, like, your initial response to the question is what you would do about it. I'm talking about just getting to know the stuff. If I couldn't do anything about it, I wouldn't want to relocate my entire life waiting for my old hometown to go up in flames.
You could tell everybody, though. This radio station, this show reaches so far that you could tell everybody in the whole world.
Would that be what's best, though?
Again, it depends on what it is.
If it's something crazy like that, is telling the public that you read something that could possibly happen, does that benefit? Who does that benefit?
If it's corruption that's hiding things.
Not corruption, threats.
But that's the other thing, too.
But you know everything, so it could be anything.
What?
But like, if you know that
you only know what is what is there.
Yeah.
You would know what plans that our agencies, our defenders have in place to thwart whatever plan it is. And if you go out on the radio station and be like, "Hey, we know about what you're trying to do," that's like tipping a ball right before somebody tries to catch it. You change everything, and you might make it worse for the agencies that have a plan in place to stop whatever it is that's about to happen.
Okay. Scenario is you find out, the biggest thing you find out from doing this is you find out that time travel is real.
Mm-hmm.
Do you tell people that?
What's the consequence of time travel?
Well, if it's time travel to the past, then you could alter the present.
To disappear.
No, you can't. Have you ever seen Back to the Future?
I guess it depends on the rules of the movie you're watching.
Endgame, where they go back to the Back to the Future model and say it's not right.
Because you can't go back and fix what you broke when you broke it.
It's science. What would have to happen for someone to prove to you that time travel was real?
I would have to show up.
Like,
and
what if
tell
I just
me.
said to you, "I'm from the past"?
I would not believe you. I really wouldn't.
Maybe I'd be really good at my job.
But if I told me that, I would be like, "All right, you got my attention."
Yeah, you should definitely get to
But
know all the codes and then.
If you were from the past, wouldn't you remember going forward to talk to yourself?
No, you don't get
Not if you're from the past, because that would have been in your future.
I have no clue.
If you go to the future from the past, but you're from the past, how would your past self know that you in the future were going to go to the future successfully?
No, future you would know, because future you would remember doing it.
Not if future you was from the timeline of past you that was still in the past.
The scenario that I'm presenting is future you comes back and tells you, here's what you need to do.
So future, you're meeting someone from the future.
Yes.
Now.
But it's yourself.
In the past.
No, in the present. It is you now.
Mm-hmm.
You wake up in the morning.
When is now?
You go to take a shower and you open the door and you're already in the shower and you're like, "Hey, wait a minute. That's me." And you're like, "Yeah, I know. I just wanted to shower because in the future we don't have showers." And you're like, "Oh my gosh."
Great that this happens in the shower.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to think of a private moment where it's just you and you. That would be somewhere in the bathroom in my mind.
Then what?
Well, then after the shower, you get out, you dry your hair, and you're like, "All right, I got some things I need to tell you about." One of them is about the time travel that you're about to experience in however many days. Then, to answer your question, then I would believe
So
me.
future me is from the past?
No, future you is just the future version of you.
Yeah, but you said that the future me is from the time travel that's going to happen in a few days. So that would mean future me is actually from the past. But the current future makes sense to me.
What? No, I'm not just like, "Oh, my head's spinning." I don't actually think any of that makes sense.
If future me
Yes.
comes back.
In 10 years.
Shush, no, you listen.
Okay.
If future me comes back
Yes.
to tell me that in a few days I'm going to time travel, which is what you just said,
Yeah.
then future me would actually be from the past because they time traveled.
No. No, it's still not true. I'm drawing the diagram in my head, and it still doesn't make sense.
Okay.
No. No. And look, we have a whiteboard right here. If you want to draw that and
I'll draw
explain it, because I are you following her?
No.
Okay, good.
I want to see it.
I'm glad to hear that. Because everybody who's in their car
But
right
I trust
now
her, and I think it could make sense.
is
I'm
wanting to
just
see
not
the drawing
That's
because
just
they
like
don't
one of the
believe
options
it.
on the YouTube poll for today.
They don't believe it.
I don't get tariffs, but I trust them. And that's the analogy that we wanted to present to you today. We did start this hour at about 2:05, and I was like, guys, I got nothing to talk about. And that's a true story from the past. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
I got a hole in me now.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Yeah, I got a scar I can talk about.
Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
In her apartment in the city. But some things in this world, man, they don't make sense.
Attention St. Louis Medicaid residents in need of care at home. If you need assistance with daily activities, you can receive in-home care from a loved one that lives with you and they get paid. Through Medicaid with no cost to you, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care at home in St. Louis and they get paid instantly. This is 100% free to you. Call now to check your eligibility. It can be your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need and your caregiver gets paid instantly. Freedom Care has over 7,000 five-star Google reviews and is a leading choice in St. Louis for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want great care from a loved one that's free to you through Medicaid, go to freedomcare.com or call 314-597-1749, 314-597-1749, 314-597-1749.
Hey, Jimmy Fallon here with a quick listening tip for you. If you miss Fox Across America or any of your other Fox News favorites, do not worry. I got you covered. You can stream previously aired shows with Rewind, available exclusively on the free Odyssey app. So if you're busy work days, it doesn't mean you have to miss out on the news. Listen to your Fox shows on your time with Odyssey. To get started, just download the free Odyssey app and search for Fox News Radio. That's Odyssey, A-U-D-A-C-Y. I'm spelling it out in case you're a little slow like me.
You're leaving for work, but the garage door won't open. Is it the opener? Is the spring broken? Now you're late and your car is trapped. Well, don't panic. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is here with same-day emergency service. They won't leave you stuck. The original Red Ribbon Garage Door Company, trusted in St. Louis since 1926. Call 314-781-5200 or schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. If you have a furnace that needs service, a heat pump that needs repairs, or a boiler that needs to be replaced, contact Air Comfort Service. They offer 24/7 emergency heating service too. aircomfortservice.com.
If you use a smart speaker, you can listen to 97.1 easier than ever. Just tell it to play 97.1 FM Talk. Or download the Odyssey app for your phone and stream the station whenever, wherever. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
I've been trying to do it right. I've been living a lonely life. I've been sleeping here instead. I've been sleeping in my bed. Sleeping in my bed. So show me family, all the blood that I will bleed. I don't know where I belong. I don't know where I went wrong. But I can write a song. I belong.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk. You're wondering, why does Annie all of a sudden sound like a man? It's Ethan. And currently, Annie is a little bit distracted. There has been an intense argument in studio during this latest commercial break between Mr. Wiggins and Annie Fry. And right now, this is going to get a little bit tricky because if you're just listening, if you're on the YouTube stream, you're going to be able to see the graphic that Annie drew on our whiteboard in studio, trying to explain a little bit of the argument that they had from the previous segment where they were talking about time travel. Is it the future? Is it the past? I kind of missed some of that part.
Can you
but
go till 3 o'clock and just... It's like a long
See,
rain
I'm
delay.
doing the math here. No.
Recap
I can't
every
do that.
segment so far.
Every
like do
segment.
that one, then do the one before it.
You guys know that I work for 2 shows, right?
Yeah. I've heard.
You know that we're not concerned with that though, right?
Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay.
I was just explaining why I wasn't going to be able to do what you asked, Ryan Wiggins.
Okay.
I could discuss Wiggins America if we wanted to go back to that.
Should we keep it? Here's the big question of this segment. Do we keep it focused on retelling things we did only about time travel, or can we retell anything from the show?
But here's the question.
Ooh.
If we go back to telling it about time travel,
Uh-huh.
are we living the example that Annie was explaining on that whiteboard? We were both future and past ourselves.
I think we should talk about speedy commercial airline travel.
Brad does too.
Holy
I've got an
desperation.
article.
Holy desperation.
I'm just happy that I proved my point.
You didn't though.
I understand her point now, and I didn't before. So
Well,
I'm completely lost.
I think it depends on if you're talking about whose perspective. Are you talking about the future you's perspective going backwards? Or are you talking about current you?
I understand that,
Yeah.
and understanding that, now I understand her point.
I think I understand it. Do I? In talking about whose perspective it is?
We should
Is that
talk
fair?
about the commercial airline flight.
Okay.
Good
fine.
stick people drawings, though.
Thank you. I even used color.
Yeah, it got really detailed when the line switched from purple to a different color just to show that it was now the future version of whoever that's supposed to be. Ryan? Is that Ryan?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
me.
can't
It
you
says
tell?
my name.
He's so svelte
no,
and
there's
bald.
there's no punch.
But I'm also very thin.
That's
All right, I'm in. All right, did you guys pay attention last week? This kind of slipped underneath the radar because we were
the
covering
radar.
Yeah, I get it.
Nice.
Yeah, let me do radio things, guys. So this slipped under the radar because we were covering
radar.
We were covering Tulsi Gabbard
that's
and
radio
RFK's hearings. We were looking at a lot of that stuff, but what was happening simultaneous to that was Boom Supersonic was testing out their new commercial supersonic jet plane, and they were trying to break the sound barrier for the first time. So they actually were able to do that. It broke the sound barrier for the first time ever, ushering in a new era of supersonic flight. Do you guys remember that?
That was not the first time ever.
For them.
For a commercial jet.
For that company.
We gotta go into the past.
They've tested a bunch. They've got
I guess
they
it
worked their way
depends on
up.
which company's perspective you're looking at.
Right.
Will
Will Sharp's on TV.
But they were working their way up to that, and so they finally broke the sound barrier. And their plan is to take this XB-1 and sell it to airlines and basically revive. Do you guys remember the Concorde? How you could fly from New York to London or New York to Paris in
I do not remember
3 hours?
I don't recall it. I remember the bird.
You're on the initial flight.
Right.
I remember the grape.
I was.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you know what a group of Concords is called? A murder.
It's a murder of Concords. Jeez.
Annie's enjoying this because Brad's leading the segment.
Yeah, I'm leading the segment.
Go ahead.
Poorly. But I mean, I've always been a big aviation nerd, and I've never understood why. Why they retired the Concorde, because you could make it from New York to London in like 3 hours, which is fantastic. But
when they retired the Concorde, we were all upset.
No, we weren't, because you don't remember it, and you told me that. But I was like, a little kid, I was watching, it's like, yeah, you get on jet, you can fly really fast, that's super cool. But now as I get older, I'm like, why don't we revise this? Because technology has improved since then. We have things like what they call super cruise, which is the ability to cruise at supersonic speeds without using afterburners. They've developed all that in the military, and that same sort of technology can apply to engines that you would use in a commercial sense. The big problem with supersonic commercial travel has always been the sonic booms over populated areas. start breaking windows, that sort of things. You can't really do that. But they were saying
Breaking
that
window.
I know. I heard the same thing. Breaking windows.
yeah, they were saying that this thing could fly at like Mach 1.7, which is almost twice the speed of sound, and they could make the pass current plane. It could be 2 times faster than any current planes over water and 20% quicker over land because of that. And American Airlines, United Airlines, and Japan Airlines have already signed deals to do this. Would you guys fly supersonic travel? Do you see this as like the next step?
I'm only a Southwest girl.
I would. Would you do it if Southwest did it?
Probably.
if Southwest
Do I get extra points?
Yeah, you do.
Introduced
Can I take my companion?
supersonic travel from St. Louis to Orlando. Would you take that flight as opposed to the standard flight?
How long would that flight be?
No, I don't want to be in the exploratory process.
Would it be like a half an hour flight?
How good are you at math? Because it's 20% faster over land, and that flight's over land. And
It's
you
2
Ryan's
hours.
not answering that.
It's 2 hours, 60 minutes, 12 more minutes.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So to answer your question, your initial question, I'm good at math.
You're good at math. Yeah. Thank you, Annie, for solving that for Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
6, 12, 24 minutes.
So it would save you 24 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really not that big of a deal.
Are you having to pay more?
Not
for
on
this?
a short flight. Probably.
So this is only for international flights is when it would matter.
It would
What
be.
about from here to Chicago?
Yeah, or here to Canada. That's international, as I've learned.
4 minutes.
This is a big show for you.
This has been a great. You know what? This has also been a really good show. It's very focused. Time's flying.
How long was your flight to Japan?
13, 14 hours.
So if you could fly supersonic and knock that time in half, would you do it?
Heck yes, I would do it. But you said 20%.
What if you could die?
No, that's
Over
20%
land.
over land. But when you fly to Japan, it's overseas, so you can fly twice as fast.
Ooh.
So, to me, the real value in this is over international flights over water, where you can go over long distances, something that would take a long time. A flight to Hawaii gets knocked way down. A flight to Japan, to Tokyo, takes a lot less. Again, that old New York to London thing.
Scooter says, why not just improve our rail network? More practical than supersonic travel.
You can't fly at that. You can't go that fast on a rail. Also, are we going to build a rail to Japan?
Joe Biden wanted to.
Joe Biden did want to build a lot more rail.
He did. I'm just.
Hey, look,
quoting the man.
Politics aside,
What?
I do think it would be cool to get in one of those, and the way that I've seen them is they're like little balls that you sit down in. Oh, gosh, why did I even start? This is going nowhere. That you sit down in these balls, and then
How old are you?
they go so fast. They go
Say
like
spheres.
400.
Say spheres.
I can't.
Why?
It has
Is it
silent.
The SPH?
Yeah, it's the
It's
SPH.
difficult
I can't
to
say it.
challenge, so you prefer balls, but you can't get through that either?
No, I can't. No, I can't because of the silent L. One of them.
3D circles.
So you get in this little 3D circle.
Balls.
And man, these things are flying.
Yeah.
These balls are flying everywhere.
Mhm.
And they move at 400 miles an hour. I think it would be cool to be able to go from St. Louis to Kansas City, which was proposed at
Would
some
you put
point.
a bumper sticker on?
Oh,
You put it no, not on one of them. You put a bumper sticker on the outside of all of them. It says, "Watch out for D's balls," because they move fast. It's a longer bumper sticker, but I would say still worth it. Anyway, politics aside, I think it would be really cool.
Politics
to
aside.
have
Politics aside.
to have
How about
fast-
politics back in the conversation?
No.
What?
No, I want to live in a
Politics
future
aside.
where there really are no political parties. Everybody gets along
You're a
somehow.
communist.
I'm not. No, I'm not communist. I don't want to share the wealth.
That's what a communist would say.
I just want to see the kind of future that was painted in the 1960s, and that where like hover cars are flying everywhere.
Everything's
and,
red.
Yeah, everything is happy too. For whatever reason, we've learned to love finally, and everything's flying. And I want to see those little balls just scooting between cities like crazy. And I want to get in one, and I want to show up in Kansas City in like an hour. That would be awesome. Then you could commute all over the Midwest. You could live in beautiful downtown St. Louis and work anywhere else you wanted.
Brad?
I was happy about a supersonic flight.
What about
but-
the
but-
balls?
But now we're talking about
What about the
Ryan's-
fast balls?
Ryan's
There was-
fantasies about balls.
Balls were being discussed, and then Ryan was able to keep it together.
Is
so
there
we
an
all
age where you men grow out of this? Does that happen? I don't know.
It's past 43.
Yeah, not that we know of yet.
So let us know if you've grown out of it.
Is it always funny?
I think it's how you approach it. You know,
Depends on who
if
you're
you're in a
with.
business meeting, super funny.
If somebody, I was gonna say, if somebody says that in a meeting here, you're not back there going,
No.
Yeah, the more inappropriate it is to laugh, the funnier it is.
If you're at a funeral, super funny. Again, I'm trying to
When
find a
is it-
scenario
when
where
is it
it's not
not?
funny. If it's so far.
I thought you were going to say not funny for
No.
both of those.
I'm just imagining trying to be with my girlfriends and someone is talking about like decorating and maybe there are some ornaments that you're going to hang up. And so I was like, I think we could put some of the balls over here. And we're all like, balls. And then we don't get any work done.
You don't keep doing anything. You just stop and laugh and then
That's
go
what
home.
you guys did. You just wrecked the whole conversation.
Now that's a good scenario. If it's a guy,
Brad brought good content to the show, and you turned it into
that's
this.
debatable. If it's a guy in the midst of a whole bunch of women in like a professional setting, and somebody says balls, super funny. Unfortunately,
You have not given a scenario
You're
yet
3
that
for
doesn't
3.
I know.
result
I
in
just
super
can't.
funny.
I get halfway through it and I'm like, doggone it, that's also funny. Like, okay, you're in court.
Oh, no.
Okay, you're in court, and the charges are serious and maybe sexual in nature. Actually, still kind of funny.
Ethan brought us into this segment. Why don't you own it and take us out? Because I am not associated with your debauchery. Get yourself together.
See, he like, okay, for instance, you're on a radio show in the afternoon talking about balls. Still funny. Ethan, take us out.
He's young and impressionable. No, not him.
He's just laughing.
You.
He keeps laughing.
You're supposed to pretend that at a certain age you become above a certain amount of things. And
I
you're
told
just telling
you.
him there's no hope for his future.
I told him until he gets to 43, there's no hope. After that, I don't know.
We need to go to
I've
break.
never time traveled. I don't know what the future holds. Maybe tomorrow
I'm not
like,
so
oh,
sure
balls
that
aren't
you
funny
haven't.
anymore.
Had you time traveled, I don't think you'd really understand that you'd done it.
If I walk in tomorrow and I'm wearing a suit and I'm like, oh boy, my monocle fell off. I don't think balls are
I
funny.
wouldn't think anything of it.
You wouldn't at all, even though my
No.
monocle fell off and it's super sad because I can't find it.
I'd step on it.
You stepped on my
Squish.
monocle. These balls aren't funny anymore.
Okay, Bane, come on.
I want to travel in a sphere.
Oh, we got to do another whole
We got to
segment.
do another one of these?
Reardon, get your butt in here. I got nothing left. Actually, I'm afraid of what we do have left. Go, do it. Do the thing.
What?
Take us out.
Ethan.
No, you can't point to him. I pointed to you.
This is the Annie Fry Show. This is the Annie Fry Show. Very dignified.
This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
The Retirement Advisory Group. I feel sorry for them. Sorry, Thomas and Bob and Tammy. 314-993-9494. If you know what's good for you, you call Thomas Helbig, you call Bob and Tammy Kershaw, and you get your retirement to that place where you think about it and you're excited about it. You're not worried about it. You don't want that anxiety to tag along because you don't know what you don't know. When you connect with the Retirement Advisory Group, when you sit down and have a retirement review with them, it doesn't cost you anything to do that. It's free. You just sit down and you talk to them about your situation, how they can help you, and then you choose whether or not you want to take the next step. This is a no-brainer. 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. Reach out to the Retirement Advisory Group and let them know you heard about them on the Annie Fry Show and you're ready to have that conversation. RetirementKey.com.
Need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Drury Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Drury Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Land Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Gain peace of mind that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They give all their clients attentive personal service, even bring toys for the kids of the household. It's a family-owned and operated business for 25-plus years. They make sure you make the right choice for your home. So if you have carpets or hard floors, you're going to be happy for years to come. 3 convenient locations in St. Charles County, 116 Main Street, in Old Town St. Peters at Mid-Rivers and Highway 70, in West County on Olive, and the store in Darden Prairie. Michael's Flooring Outlet, IGotFloor.com.
This station is now conducting a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
Now Taxes is using Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get your refund so you can do more with it right in Credit Karma. Now this is taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. See guaranteed details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
YouTube live chat poll is, do you support eliminating the Department of Education? Yes, no, or not sure, but I trust Trump. Let us know which of those 3 you would be in eliminating the Department of Education. It is 2:43. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
JerryKelly.com. Where are you now when darkness seems to win? Where are you now?
This is the Annie Fry Show.
When the world is
Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
I hear you say, look up, child. Hey, look up, child. Hey, where are you now? When all I feel is doubt. Oh, where are you now? When I can't figure it out. Oh, I hear you say, look up, child.
You sound just like her.
Did you even know I was singing right there? Or
Wasn't
did it
this,
blend into
wasn't
it?
this the Rock Mouth?
No. This is Lauren Daigle.
Doesn't Rockmouth have a cover of it, though?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was really Rockmouth.
No.
It's Lauren Daigle. I
Yeah.
get them confused all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some people do. Those in the industry can pick out Rockmouth like that. And they sometimes get confused. I get it. I get it. Some people do get confused with me and Lauren Daigle, though. Who's going to blink first?
Brad.
Brad.
Hey, what's going on with Blake Lively?
Oh, my gosh. I'm so glad you asked.
I do want to. Do you know anything about it?
Very little.
Do you know anything
I
about it?
know a little
Brad?
bit about it, yeah.
And Ryan?
Mhm.
I'm
She's
sure you
married
know
to,
everything about
Ryan
it.
Reynolds.
So, before we discuss anything, I know nothing other than lawsuits, Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, some Justin Baldoni.
Mm-hmm.
It Ends With Us is a movie that they were in,
Mm-hmm.
and it just went south. It seems like you're either Blake Lively, Team Blake Lively / Ryan Reynolds, or Team Baldoni. Without going further into details yet, Ethan, do you have an obvious side that you're on?
I don't know enough about it. I've seen it in headlines on TMZ a lot over here, and then you'll see it pop up on social media, but I haven't dove into it very much. But from what I've seen, this is more serious than originally thought, so maybe that will make me look into it more.
Do you have a hunch of who's the bad guy, Brad?
I have no idea. I know the accusations. I know the responses to the accusations. I know the counter accusations. And when I look at Hollywood individuals and they go out there, one of the things that I realize about both or all parties involved is they're actors. And that means that they're good at drama. They're good at telling their story. They're good at telling their story in a convincing way. And I don't know who's telling the truth, and I don't know who's lying. And I think what probably is actually the truth is they're both liable.
Ryan, who's the bad guy?
To me, everybody is a loser here in a sense because this movie is boring. And what they've done to Colleen Hoover's novel. I mean, really?
How much of Wikipedia are you going to read over there?
Well, I can't say, but I will tell you that for me,
you said you knew something about this.
Yeah.
Did you know how to Google it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I tell you right now that Baldoni's $400 million defamation and extortion case.
What's that?
Targets Lively and her husband Ryan Reynolds.
You got to quote
and
this.
publicist
if you're reading
Leslie
this,
Sloan.
You have to tell us where you're reading it from.
I'm not reading anything.
You have to.
I'm reciting this from memory because I like it that much.
From
the
what
story.
source did you memorize it from?
Newsweek.
And the author? Before we get in trouble? He's looking for it.
Scanning.
Newsweek.
Sean O'Driscoll.
Naturally. See, now Sean can't get mad at us.
Right.
Do you have opinions going into your research here about who's the bad guy and who's not?
No, I really don't.
I have a hunch.
Ooh, I want to know.
I think Blake Lively's the bad guy.
Why?
Yeah.
Because I think power corrupts. I think Ryan Reynolds is about as A-list top of the line as you can get in Hollywood right now. And the idea that these PR firms just can force you into a position where they can smear you to the point where you won't fight back because it would cost you too much to defend yourself, so that you settle or you give in or whatever it is. That's what it seems like it is. I'm leery to think that anyone's really the good guy here, which maybe is what you were initially saying. But what it sounds like is Baldoni was being accused from Blake Lively initially to engage in sexually harassing behavior, making her feel uncomfortable. I've heard or read that Blake Lively wanted like script edits and wasn't getting her way in everything potentially. I don't know all the specific details, but that the main accusation that came out was that Baldoni was inappropriate towards and around Blake Lively. But it seems as though there were communications with PR firms surrounding the situation that were basically threatening Baldoni with, you're going to do what we want or we're going to ruin you. And I hate that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first time I saw this reported, I just assumed, although it's gotten past this now, I just assumed this was a PR story. Because when you create drama
it
between...
could all be a PR stunt.
I mean, but at this point, you're going to the point where if you even watch this movie, you're thinking about the animosity between them instead of watching the characters. So you almost are ruining it if you're going this far for PR.
Was the movie in the theaters or was it a streaming movie?
I think it was in theaters.
Was it a successful movie?
I don't know. Is it still in theaters?
No.
This I do not know.
This is just a segment of us asking questions.
Well, let me read this. So before I was reciting it from memory from Newsweek, this I'm going to read directly from Newsweek. Baldoni claims that on April 25th, 2023, he was summoned by Lively to her penthouse and greeted by Reynolds, who swore at Baldoni and accused him of fat-shaming his wife with the words, "How dare you blanking ask about my wife's weight? What's wrong with you?" According to court documents, Lively told her husband, Ryan Reynolds, that Baldoni had asked about her weight before a film scene in which Baldoni had to physically lift her. That seems like a natural question you might want to ask. Like, can I do this?
There's gray area there. But still, like, it's not like she's
Worth
going to
the
say,
lawsuit, though?
I'm 140 pounds. He's like, I'm going to need you to get to 135. That's
Yeah.
not happening. So I
can't bench that. I can squat that. That might be a real conversation. That might have happened, I'm saying.
But
so no, nobody in here has any strong feelings about this. Apparently, the judge muzzled both of them, which is probably better for everybody.
No. In fact, I'm waiting for there to be something that comes. I think actually what's come out is Baldoni's side is coming out more now because Blake Lively obviously
got a whole website.
Blake Lively has the power of persona. Many more people know who she is, Ryan Reynolds, than Justin Baldoni. But now with him coming out and giving the text messages, because he's releasing a bunch of their communications, and nothing really has come out that looks inappropriate, has everybody asking, well, then are all of her claims unsubstantiated? Which doesn't mean they're not true. It just means you can't really back them up. If all of their text exchanges are fine, it's going to be tough to prove. Yeah. And it does make Baldoni look better.
Do you think that Ryan Reynolds' behavior is rational? On that story you just told there where he confronted Baldoni, is that the rational behavior of a husband whose wife comes home and tells him, hey, this dude just called me fat and is
not in a world
me.
where a feminist would take care of herself? No, that's psychotic.
It also depends on if that's all that was communicated during that time. I'm reading stuff on the BBC about him being really perverted, saying some weird comments
Baldoni.
about her and involving sexual harassment and seeing her in previous scenes and stuff and talking about some really inappropriate stuff. So if it involves that,
that's different than talking about your weight.
That's a very different story.
But also, it's I don't know, if you're trying to make it so that somebody stops sexually harassing and you say stop doing this, and they there's a possibility that people act in an inappropriate way that they think is okay. If you correct their behavior and say this makes me uncomfortable, then they stop because they thought it was okay, but it's not okay, and now they know. If it's not okay, then why do you? I guess it's easier said than done. Why would you suffer that? Why would you just not go straight to I'm pulling out of this project? Or
yeah, that's tough because if you've already signed a contract, then you're locked in and you're already shooting. And this is a tricky situation too because it's not just like a typical office HR where if you're walking up to somebody and saying certain things to somebody in your office, it's like, whoa, that's too far. They're in a love movie. They're always supposed to be acting and have chemistry, and you got to create all this stuff. That doesn't mean that there's not lines that somebody might have crossed.
Yeah.
But it's just a different situation.
Yeah, not something that normal existence really balances.
Yeah.
And what's your initial, what is your vibe towards Baldoni, Lively, and Ryan Reynolds individually?
I mean, Ryan Reynolds is very likable, so I have no opinion of Blake Lively because I've never watched any of the CW stuff she was originally on or any of her. I don't think I've seen any of her movies.
Was she Gossip Girl?
Yeah,
she was big
I think
in?
so. And this Justin Baldoni, this is the first time I even heard his name.
Yeah,
so
me too.
I don't know who he is.
I may be in the minority, but I don't think Reynolds is likable at all.
Really?
I think he's kind of gross.
What?
I mean, he's a little cocky, but I still think he's funny.
He's cocky is a good way to put it. I think he's talented from what he does professionally, but I am very unimpressed. I would put Ryan Reynolds and Chris Pratt against each other as the people who they are and think that they are very different people.
And he's Baldoni's not the only one that has said something like this. TJ, I can't think of his name. He was one of he's a stand-up comedian. He was one of the main characters in the Deadpool movie, but he came out and he said, I'll never work with him again.
Really?
With Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was something about the way he was treated, and he's like, he's not who he portrays himself to be.
That's my spidey sense, but it's just a spidey sense. I could be completely wrong.
Well, I'll work with him in the future, but we'll see. We'll see.
On your next Annie Fry show?
Yeah.
Part 2.
On Annie Fry Show 2026.
Ethan, you want to set up the poll for us here real quick?
Today's YouTube live chat poll, do you support eliminating the Department of Education? The options being yes, no, or not sure, but I trust Trump.
I am a not sure, but I trust Trump.
Oh, I'm a yes. Big time yes.
I'm actually a not sure, but I trust Trump too because there are questions I have that I'm assuming he's already answered about doing this.
Yeah, I lean the same way. I don't have enough knowledge or information to be able to just outright say yes, but Trump is hitting pretty consistently right now, so it's hard to not roll with him.
Yeah. You want to give the results?
375 votes
Woo!
on today's YouTube live chat poll. Once again, do you support eliminating the Department of Education? Not sure, but I trust Trump gets 13% of the vote. 19% of people say no, and the remaining 68% say yes.
That's pretty awesome. All right. Well, thank you for voting today. Thank you for listening. The podcast available at anniefryshow.com/podcast or on the Odyssey app. If you're streaming right now, you can keep it right here because the Mark Reardon Show is coming up next.
When's the last time you gave your home's exterior a little love? Hi, it's Kim, and if your siding is cracking, it's fading, or just doesn't stand up to our St. Louis weather, it's time to call Lakeside Renovation and Design because they're experts in James Hardy siding, which is this durable, low-maintenance option, and it looks beautiful. Plus, you have customizable colors and textures, and so you can give your home a completely new look while protecting it for decades. Don't wait until the small problems turn into big ones. Visit lakesidearty.com to schedule your free consultation.
At the Williams residence, everything looked kind of the same from the outside. But inside, their lives just got way happier. 3 years of inflation and debt had crushed them. But for the first time, they had the cash to secure their retirement, pay off bills, and plan their future. They didn't win the lottery exactly. They did a genius financial strategy called the Sell and Stay program from Truehold. It's easy. Their home's value had rebounded greatly, so they quickly sold it to Truehold and banked all that equity in cash. But since they weren't ready to move, they could stay put with an easy, affordable lease. Truehold even paid their property taxes, home insurance, and essential home repairs. Truehold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Get a Truehold offer now while your home's value is high. Call 855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than